It's Wednesday, February 18th. Today on Your Morning Atlantic, food inflation. Atlantic Canadians forking out the most money on groceries. Your top news headlines just ahead.
And it's Apple Month in Nova Scotia. We'll hear from the Nova Scotia Fruit Growers Association on what to expect for the 2026 harvest season and get some tasty apple and cheese pairings. That's coming up on Your Morning Atlantic.
And chatting with an Oscar nominee, Maritimer and set decorator Shane Vio already has an Oscar, and he's also nominated again this year for his work on Frankenstein. We'll chat with him about a special screening and a conversation happening in Chester. That and so much more just ahead on the Wednesday edition of Your Morning Atlantic.
If you're in Newfoundland and parts of Labrador, and the most Wednesdayest of Wednesdays at this time. So we don't blame you on that.
I'm here, so that's the most important thing.
I'm only here so I won't get fined.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, good to be back. Just recovering a little bit, so stay with me if my voice coughs a little bit. It's one of those, glad it's not the flu.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, because there's been a lot of rough stuff going around. Seems to be a cold, so it was nice to have a day off yesterday.
Exactly.
Just to stay at home and relax for a bit.
Up. The green is like literally bringing out your eyes right now.
Oh, thank you.
So you don't
it's
look
cozy.
sick at all.
It's cozy, and it's the makeup too that helps. I didn't have that on yesterday. No, so it's nice to be back. I will be off tomorrow. I'm going to be staying up late tonight. I'm going to be hosting the Special Olympics Inspired Gala tonight in Halifax. Oh my gosh, it's an incredible event. I'm so pleased to be back as their MC for a second year. So that's going to be happening tonight. I'm looking forward to that. So if you're going to be there, I will see you there.
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go. We love it. And so what's she looking like for weather-wise tonight?
It's not too bad, actually, but we do have active weather heading our way. A bit of mixed precipitation. Because the temperature is going to be really warm, especially for the Maritime region, we will start to see flurries and or showers into the afternoon. But other than that, it's going to be a warm day ahead.
Saw some flurries out on Roby Street just this morning when I was just looking out the window.
Right?
Yeah, beautiful.
Just a sprinkle.
A sprinkle.
Yeah.
Pretty light. Yeah. It's around a 30% chance of it happening, but as you can see here, we are seeing a bit of that flurry activity make an impact on roads. Keep that in mind when you are heading out. Roads could be a bit slick starting off your day. -3 degrees in Fredericton, so much warmer than we saw yesterday morning at least. -8 starting off your day in Charlottetown, -6 in Halifax, -7 in Sydney, 0 into St. John's, Newfoundland. Factor in that wind chill, still going to feel cooler this morning. Temperatures will rise into the afternoon, expecting our daytime highs to be quite warm for parts of Atlantic Canada. We do have a snowfall warning in effect for parts of Newfoundland, a winter storm warning, as well as a orange level winter storm warning as we see heavier snowfall and blowing snow headed their way. So here's a look at our satellite and radar. So we are starting off the day with a bit of flurry activity, light snowfall for parts of the Maritime region. Into the afternoon, we'll start to see a bit of that clear out, leaving sunny breaks, but also seeing the return of a chance of showers and or flurries for parts of Nova Scotia, and flurry activity returns for parts of New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. Now, Newfoundland and Labrador are going to see some lighter snowfall. Newfoundland, that heavier blowing snow expected. Here's a look at the current wind across the Maritime region. Yet again, starting off quite light, but will pick up this afternoon. As of right now, 19 kilometers per hour in Canso, 17 into North Cape, 13 in Moncton, and one wind gust to notify you of getting up to 30 kilometers per hour in Yarmouth. We'll take a look at your long-range forecast just ahead. First, a look at your local news with Amanda.
Investigators are trying to figure out what started a house fire in Halifax last night. Halifax Fire tells CTV News crews were called to the 6100 block of Lady Hammond Road around 8 p.m. The structure is a home that was turned into 2 rental units. Before firefighters arrived, Halifax police helped one person on the second floor get out. No one was hurt and the fire was quickly extinguished. Crews were on scene for about an hour and a half. There is heavy damage on the first floor. Investigators will be on scene this morning to try and determine how it started. RCMP in Nova Scotia's Kings County are hoping you can help them locate a man in connection with an armed robbery in Coldbrook Monday. Police were called to a restaurant in the 7100 block of Highway 1 around 3:20 p.m. after a man entered the business, placed a weapon on the counter, and demanded money before fleeing. Investigators believe he jumped into a waiting car and fled the scene. The vehicle was believed to be blue or gray 4-door Chevy Cruze, about 2010. The suspect had light-colored hair and facial hair. 5'7" to 9" with a slim build. Anyone with information is asked to contact our CMP. Food prices in our part of the country have once again soared higher than anywhere else. Nationally, food inflation jumped to 7.3% year over year in January. That's up from 6.2% in December. The numbers are even more shocking in our region. Food inflation in New Brunswick sits at 9%, a touch higher in Nova Scotia at 9.2%, and P.E.I. comes in at 10.1%.
Essentially protein, so you have to think about beef. Beef is up again 18.8%, so that's still going up. Pork is also a big issue.
Every time food prices go up elsewhere, we kind of get more of an influx of customers because we are more of a discounted grocery store, and that leads to people wanting to make a longer drive to find more affordable groceries.
There was some good news in the StatsCan report. Prices dropped for items like eggs and fresh fruit. New Brunswick's deficit is higher than ever before, $1.3 billion. That's according to the province's latest fiscal update. It's also an increase of almost $800 million from the spring budget.
We had 100,000 people move into this province and increase our revenue. The revenue generation came in immediately, but an extra 100,000 people in this province obviously brings its costs with it. The costs are coming in now.
We're leaving the legacy of the higher debt for future generations. So it's causing an effect where people might start saying, do I really want to live in New Brunswick where the tax rate is so incredibly high that for every dollar earned, my disposable income is very minimal?
Finance Minister Renee Legacy said it will be extremely difficult for the Liberal government to balance the books by the end of its current mandate. The Liberals are asking New Brunswickers for input on where to cut to next month's budget, with options including civil service reductions, selling government property, and tolls on out-of-province vehicles. That deadline is Friday. Staying in New Brunswick, police in Moncton have now ruled the death of a woman whose body was found in a garbage bin on Sunday as a homicide. The victim's name has not been released, but police say she was around 40 years old and from Moncton. The incident has shaken the neighborhood.
I have 2 small children, and I could have been walking by there with my children. My kids could have seen that, and it's sad. It's really sad. It's a shame that it happened because it's somebody's daughter, somebody's partner or sister.
Police have confirmed an operation a few blocks away was connected to the ongoing investigation. The proceedings at the Jansen Baker double murder trial will resume today after ending abruptly Tuesday, with the jury being sent home. Turns out some legal matters needed to be discussed before the defense presented its evidence, so the jury was dismissed until today. Baker has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Bernard and Rosemarie Saunier. The elderly couple were shot and killed in their home in Dieppe in the fall of 2019. The prosecution wrapped its case last Thursday. Family and friends of the victims have been attending since the trial began in early January. Finally, people gathered in the streets of New Orleans Tuesday to celebrate Mardi Gras, the conclusion to the Carnival season, ahead of the Christian period of Lent. Now that's a party. Mardi Gras, also known as Fat Tuesday, marks the climax of the Carnival season. People could be seen donning colorful outfits and showing off homemade costumes as well. It's also such a big tourist draw for the area as well to go there this time of year.
Absolutely.
Could you imagine what a party?
I would love to go one day.
I feel like New Orleans at any time is a party, but especially for this. Yesterday was a big day. Lunar New Year, Mardi Gras, the start of Ramadan.
Yep.
So
a lot to celebrate.
A lot to celebrate.
Yeah.
Definitely. So pretty awesome sights and sounds there for sure.
I love all the purples too. It's just nice to take a moment just to see all the celebrations. What if you weren't expecting one of those items tossed to you?
Wham! Whack in the face.
Yeah. Wide awake.
A nice surprise, I feel.
Wake you up.
Wake you up.
Yeah, it would.
It's so cool.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so another celebration would be that at the Super Bowl, of course, we saw Bad Bunny and his performance.
Yeah.
If you missed it, it's gone viral pretty much around the world, right? And he did take the world by storm, like, during that performance. But over in Barcelona, they're taking it to another level. So they are seeing a mural that's been painted, and tourists are definitely taking in this beautiful mural and Bad Bunny's message of unity from his Super Bowl halftime show, and lots of people are weighing in on it, but a very accurate depiction of Bad Bunny. That's a really good likeness also. Yeah.
Benito.
Yep. Benito with the little boy holding the Grammy too.
So cute.
Yes, just absolutely.
Yeah, it's
so
a great performance.
such a good performance.
Yeah.
One of the better Super Bowl performances, I must say.
It was a good one.
Technically too.
That's true.
Fantastic. Okay, so we'll have your first look at your national news headlines on this Wednesday morning, and Latavia will have the first look at the full forecast. This is a live look at the roundabout, the Halifax roundabout. We will have the forecast when we return.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada, and happy Wednesday. The time now is 6:13. We're taking a live look at Lunenburg. Starting off at -6 degrees, we do have a chance of some flurries in your area already falling, as you can see from our live eye. Weather is brought to you by ALC.ca. We are seeing active weather right across the region today. Early this morning, not a bad start to your day, much warmer than yesterday at least. -4 degrees in Fredericton, -8 in both Charlottetown and Sydney, -6 degrees early in Halifax, -10 over in Labrador City, 0 into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do have a snowfall warning in effect for parts of Newfoundland for this morning until Thursday. Snowfall ranging from 10 to 20 centimeters of accumulation. Wind gusts could get up to 80 kilometers per hour. A winter storm warning also in effect, snowfall 5 to 30 centimeters and wind gusts getting up to 100 kilometers per hour. An orange level winter storm warning as well. So this is until early Thursday. Snowfall a bit heavier, 30 to 60 centimeters of accumulation. Wind gusts will range from 80 to 100. So here's a look at the current system tracking across the region. For the Maritime region, looking at a chance of flurries and or light snowfall early in the morning. For parts of Labrador, also seeing some lighter snowfall. The heaviest being into parts of Newfoundland early this morning. Looking at snow, at times heavy, as well as blowing snow. Into the afternoon, while temperatures really begin to warm up, especially for the Maritime region, we're going to see a bit of a wintry mix for parts of Nova Scotia, looking at a chance of flurries and or showers. But parts of the region as well, we'll be seeing a bit of sunny breaks. And then into the evening, we start to see that chance of flurries remain and return. If you are seeing a bit of sunshine into the afternoon, into the evening, you'll start to see a chance of some isolated flurries. Parts of Labrador still dealing with light snowfall, and Newfoundland still seeing that heavier snowfall into early Thursday morning. If you're wondering about snowfall totals, they will start to accumulate, looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters for parts of New Brunswick and most of Nova Scotia, and looking at around 1 to 10 centimeters for Prince Edward Island. For Labrador, only seeing around 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation, looking at 1 to 30 for parts of Newfoundland. Here's a look at our forecast today for New Brunswick. Daytime highs will range from -2 to +2. Looking at snow starting off the day, becoming a mix of sun and cloud into the afternoon, but seeing a chance of flurries return into the evening, wind gusts of 40 kilometers per hour. Prince Edward Island highs between -1 to +1. Light snowfall throughout the day, could see some sunny breaks into the afternoon. Flurries return into the evening. Same thing goes for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia. A cloudy start to your day though, seeing a light snowfall into the afternoon. Could see some sunny breaks for this part of the province as well, with highs between -1 to 3 degrees. For the rest of Nova Scotia, looking at a chance of flurries early in the morning, clearing, leaving a bit of sunshine, returning into flurries and or showers into the afternoon, carrying flurries into the evening. Highs between 2 to 5 degrees. For Labrador City, we're looking at a few flurries throughout your day today, a high of -4, and 1 degree into St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at that heavy blowing snow throughout your day. Thursday's forecast, temperatures start to cool back down. Going to remain either seasonal or below seasonal for parts of the region. Still holding on to flurry activity for parts of Cape Breton Island, parts of Labrador, light snowfall. Newfoundland still dealing with a bit of snowfall as well before that system slowly clears out. But into the evening, we're going to see snowfall pick up again for Newfoundland and Labrador, clearing out of the Maritime region. Friday's forecast, cooling down further, sunshine returns in the forecast. We are still dealing with some active weather for Newfoundland and Labrador. So that's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. Now to national news headlines. Prime Minister Mark Carney unveiled Canada's first defence industrial strategy in Montreal yesterday. The $6.6 billion plan promises contracts to Canadian firms and 125,000 new jobs. CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin with what it could potentially mean for the military and the economy.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada has for too long relied on geography and others to protect the country, that his plan overhauls that strategy in a changing world.
It means building a domestic defense industrial base so we are never hostage to the decisions of others.
Others, including the U.S. Still, Carney insisted his strategy to arm the military and boost Canada's defense industry would be complementary, not in competition with American defense supply chains.
First, we will build in Canada and prioritize Canadian companies.
Canadian companies now provide roughly 1/3 of this country's military needs. Carney wants 70% over the next decade, and he wants to increase defense exports by 50%.
That's real growth.
Many of Canada's defense contractors have long focused on exports. This strategy could change that, but the industry says the procurement system has to be much leaner, faster.
If it doesn't happen, it could undermine the entire strategy that we just heard about today.
The government is setting up a defense investment agency to streamline the system, the centerpiece of its strategy. And CAE, the world's largest simulator provider, says it's ready to answer Canada's call.
We're talking about a sea change in spending and focus, and so as the government works on simplifying how to work with contractors, it only accelerates us.
But the Conservatives say that while moving quickly and eliminating bureaucracy is key to boosting Canada's military independence, the new agency won't deliver.
His new proposal adds 6 new bureaucracies, agencies, councils, units, and other bureaucracies that will actually gum up and slow the system down.
But with this major overhaul of defense spending, many say that there's still some fine-tuning to be done to ensure that this strategy becomes reality. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
On the West Coast, British Columbia's budget deficit has hit a historic high for the province, a staggering $13.3 billion.
We know that British Columbians are tightening their belts.
The budget revealed tax increases across the board and thousands of public sector job cuts. Finance Minister Brenda Bailey says she delivered the plan with a heavy heart after last week's mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge. On Tuesday, temporary portable classrooms were being set up on the grounds at Tumbler Ridge Elementary School, north of the secondary school, where 5 students and an education assistant were killed. So far, no scheduled date for classes to resume. A quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, we will have your must-see moment from our colleagues at TSN, plus your top business headlines. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
I know, right? 1994.
Oof. Well, we're going to keep it with the sports theme and throw things over to our colleagues at TSN for your must-see moment.
Hello, everyone. Glenn Sheeler inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Tuesday. And for that, we're going across the pond. Little footy action. Just over 4 minutes into the second half, Vinicius Jr. steps just inside the box, unleashes an absolute missile here into the far corner. Just a brilliant strike from the 25-year-old Brazilian. The only goal in Real Madrid's first leg victory over Benfica in Champions League. A game otherwise marred, though, by alleged racist abuse against Vinny Jr. by both Benfica fans, players. His goal, though, was the difference, and that is your must-see moment. And Canada's quest for gold, well, in men's hockey, it continues today. Yes, quarterfinal clash, Canada against Czechia. Remember, Canada blanked the Czechs 5-0 in the preliminary round of play. Coverage for that begins 10:30 a.m. Eastern on CBC and TSN1. That's all for now, everyone. Have a great day.
This TSN must-see moment brought to you by J.R. Rahe's Furniture and Appliances.
Canada might have bested them 5-0 at this tournament, but they've had our number in the World Juniors, so let's just leave that there.
Ooh.
I'm ever the pessimist, apparently.
Apparently. All right, now we'll take a look at your business headlines from our colleagues over at BNN.
The annual rate of inflation ticked down in the month of January to 2.3%. StatsCan says gas prices were about 16% lower year over year, but that decline was offset by food inflation, which increased more than 7% annually. Shelter inflation also eased, only rising 1.7% in January. That's the first time in almost 5 years that figure has been below 2%. And Wheaton Precious Metals is doubling down on its silver exposure, signing a $4.3 billion silver streaming agreement with BHP. Wheaton will pay BHP the money up front in cash, making this the most valuable precious metals streaming deal to date. Shares of Sherritt International took a hit today. The company is reducing operations at its joint venture in Cuba due to fuel shortages there. Now, the move comes after Sherritt received notification that planned fuel deliveries will not be fulfilled, and there's no timeline for resumption at this point. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar didn't move much, ending the day at 73.31. West Texas Intermediate is down to 62.26. Western Canadian Select is up to just over $47 a barrel. And the TSX dropped today and is now below 33,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Taking a look at our 3-day forecast for New Brunswick today, a high of 1 degree. We do have light snowfall clearing into the afternoon, leaving a sunny breaks, but we have the return of flurries into the evening. On Thursday, 2 degrees with sunshine across the province, 0 on Friday. Sunshine remains. Nova Scotia looking at a high of 4. We have light snowfall and flurries starting off the day, clearing into the afternoon, switching over to a low chance of flurries and or showers, and then into flurries in the evening. 1 degree on Thursday, looking at a mix of sun and cloud, isolated flurries for Cape Breton Island. On Friday, -1, lots of sunshine with increasing cloudiness. Prince Edward Island, 0 today with light snowfall. On Thursday, -1, isolated flurries. And then on Friday, -6, sunny skies.
Coming up in this half hour, the Move Morning Chat. And today we want to know, what would you buy if you won the lottery? We have some ideas and we're sharing them in about 15 minutes on Your Morning Atlantic.
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. It is 6:31 on your Wednesday morning, February 18th. I know, it's hard to believe. Middle of the month, which is nice though. I'm enjoying the winter. It's been a good season. We've had some really fresh snowfall, but it's been feeling so mild the past few days.
It has. And I think you enjoy the winter more because you're someone who gets outside, embraces it, like many other Maritimers and Atlantic Canadians do. I don't, so I sit and look from my window and just see the grayness, and I'm like,
Except, can I just say, way less gray on this coast than versus the other coast.
Oh, over in Vancouver,
honestly, like, give me the cold and give me the snow because there's at least sunshine.
Yeah.
And it just makes those days feel a little bit better, right? Like, even, it's been milder conditions for us as well, which is really, really nice.
Oh, yeah.
But just even on the colder days, it's like, oh, but the sun's shining. So, like, feeling that on your face, you're just like, it's fine.
Oh, it's so true. Like, blue skies. Yeah, we'd love to see that. So it makes us wonder if we're having sun today.
We are actually. This This kind of system is a bit weird because the temperatures are really high today for parts of the Maritime region. We are going to see flurries, as you can see here in Moncton, starting off the day. A bit of that clears out, leaving some sunny breaks, but then the return of either flurries and or showers for parts of the region and heavier snowfall for Newfoundland. So for Moncton today, as of right now, -3 degrees heading outdoors. It's much warmer starting off the day, even when we factor in that wind chill. -8 degrees starting off your day in Charlottetown and Sydney, -5 in Halifax, as well as into Happy Valley Goose Bay, -3 in Gander. So here's a look at that wind chill, not as cold as we saw even yesterday morning, and temperatures will continue to rise as we head towards this afternoon for our daytime highs. We do have a snowfall warning, though, in effect for parts of Newfoundland until Thursday, a winter storm warning with the orange level winter storm warning in effect. So here's a look at that satellite and radar. As I mentioned, we are seeing a little bit of everything today. We do have that heavier blowing snow for parts of Newfoundland. Other than that, seeing flurry activity, light snowfall, and a bit of shower activity for parts of Nova Scotia into the afternoon. In terms of the wind, it's going to start picking up. As of right now, 19 kilometers per hour in North Cape, 15 in Charlottetown and in Sydney, 22 in Yarmouth, 13 in Halifax. One wind gust to notify you of at this time, 28 kilometers per hour in North Cape. We'll take another look at your forecast just ahead, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thanks, Latavia. Investigators are trying to figure out what started a house fire in Halifax last night. Halifax Fire tells CTV News crews were called to the 6100 block of Lady Hammond Road around 8 p.m. The structure is a home that was turned into 2 rental units. Before firefighters arrived, Halifax police helped one person on the second floor get out. No one was hurt and the fire was quickly extinguished. Crews were on the scene for about an hour and a half. There is heavy damage on the first floor. Investigators will be on scene this morning to try and determine how it started. An unscheduled price adjustment in Prince Edward Island means you will be paying less for diesel. It is now below the $2 mark. In P.E.I, diesel decreased by 12 cents a liter overnight. The minimum price now $1.88.4 a liter. Prices did not change in Nova Scotia or New Brunswick. RCMP in Nova Scotia's Kings County are hoping you can help them locate a man in connection with an armed robbery in Colebrook Monday. Police were called to a restaurant in the 7100 block of Highway 1 around 3:20 p.m. after a man entered the business, placed a weapon on the counter, and demanded money before fleeing. Investigators believe he jumped into a waiting car and fled the scene. The vehicle was believed to be blue or gray 4-door Chevy Cruze, about 2010. The suspect had light-colored hair and facial hair, 5'7" to 9", with a slim build. Anyone with information is asked to contact RCMP. Food prices in our part of the country have once again soared higher than anywhere else. Nationally, food inflation jumped to 7.3% year over year in January. That's up from 6.2% in December. The numbers are even more shocking in our region. Food inflation in New Brunswick sits at 9%. Nova Scotia, 9.2, and P.E.I, 10.1.
Essentially protein, so you have to think about beef. Beef is up again 18.8%, so that's still going up. Pork is also a big issue.
Every time food prices go up elsewhere, we kind of get more of an influx of customers because we are more of a discounted grocery store, and that leads to people wanting to make a longer drive to find more affordable groceries.
Some good news in the StatsCan report. Prices dropped for items like eggs and fresh fruit. New Brunswick's deficit is higher than ever before, $1.3 billion. That's according to the province's latest fiscal update. It is an increase of almost $800 million from the spring budget.
We had 100,000 people move into this province and increase our revenue. The revenue generation came in immediately, but an extra 100,000 people in this province obviously brings its costs with it. The costs are coming in now.
We're leaving the legacy of the higher debt for future generations. So it's causing an effect where people might start saying, do I really want to live in New Brunswick where the tax rate is so incredibly high that for every dollar earned, my disposable income is very minimal?
The finance minister said it will be extremely difficult for the Liberal government to balance the books by the end of its current mandate. The Liberals are asking New Brunswickers for input on where to cut in next month's budget, with options including civil service reductions, selling government property, and tolls on out-of-province vehicles. A 21-year-old man is facing an attempted murder charge following a shooting last month in Westfall, just outside Dartmouth. The shooting took place around supper time in a parking lot in the 700 block of Highway. And was sitting in a vehicle when the suspect drove up and fired shots. The person targeted was not injured. Police arrested Martino Maurice Williams last week. He's been charged with attempted murder and discharging a firearm with intent. He remains in custody until his next court appearance. Finally, we do love to receive your photos, and we're in the peak of snowman making season. Take a look at these. First, we have a Team Canada. Excuse me. Still getting over that cough. So this is a Team Canada supporter. And then we also have a Valentine's couple. So Don Gordon, he's a viewer from Campbellton, New Brunswick. And he sent these our way. He sent us photos. He's very known in the area for making really elaborate snowmen.
I love those flowers.
Isn't that cute?
That's a good one.
See, getting outside and enjoying some of the beautiful winter.
Excuse me.
You poor thing.
Yeah, it's that lingering cough.
Yeah, of course.
It's honestly, the worst part of
I think I have coughing fits like twice a year on the show.
Yep. For good measure.
You're
I have
a record, though, honestly.
You also do
I have
the
a
most
record.
amount of talking.
I was gonna say, yeah, you talk a lot,
I'm
right?
zipping it.
No,
That's
like
fair.
we love to hear you talk, but we just
but maybe not coughing.
Your poor throat.
You're not alone. I choke on my own saliva doing the podcast most days.
Excuse me.
So at least you have a
Excuse
reason.
me.
Yeah,
Going around.
and at least it's not like the word stumbles, like you know.
Just the cough.
Just the cough. It's fine. But we'll keep with the winter theme. Bobsled, of course, skeleton, skiing, so many races at the Olympics. But this might be my favorite winter race of all time.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, and penguins are birds. Have you ever seen anything this cute?
No.
I know. I would watch this over and over, but I don't know who I'd want to win.
They're all winners.
Right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. This is up there with pandas.
This is. I'm obsessed with penguins. I don't normally like birds.
Yes, as we know.
But penguins and puffins, they just like do something different, you know?
So cute.
And they're enjoying the winter. Maybe we can ask for a penguin snowman.
That'd be hard to build, I think.
I'm not an ice sculptor, so like I'm not going to take the lead on that because it would be a very unfortunate looking penguin snowman, but
I think it could happen.
Leave it to Dawn.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break here. Still ahead, your entertainment headlines, but next is going to be the Move Morning Chat. Today, we want to know, what's the first thing you'd buy if you won the lottery? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Happy Wednesday, Atlantic, Canada. The time now is 6:43. We're taking a live look at Grand Falls, starting off at -5. We are expecting some snowfall in your area, becoming heavier into the afternoon. We are going to see active weather across much of Atlantic Canada today. Just something to keep in mind when you are heading out. A warmer start to the day at least. -4 degrees in Fredericton, -7 into Charlottetown, a bit colder into Sydney with -8, -5 in Halifax, as well as into Happy Valley Goose Bay, -11 in Corner Brook. We do have a snowfall warning in effect until Thursday. Snowfall between 10 to 20 centimeters of accumulation. A winter storm warning as well until early Thursday. Snowfall between 5 to 30 centimeters. Wind gusts between 60 to 100. And an orange level winter storm warning. What that means is going to be heavier snowfall at around 30 to 60 centimeters. Wind gusts could get up to 100 kilometers per hour. So here's a look at our forecast timeline, seeing that heavier snow situated into parts of Newfoundland. Also going to see that blowing snow, so something to keep in mind, visibility could become an issue. For the Maritime region, looking at a chance of flurries, also some light snowfall for parts of all 3 Maritime provinces. And for Labrador, also looking at a few flurries as well. Into the afternoon, we start to see those temperatures really begin to warm up. So what that means for the Maritime region specifically, we could start to see a chance of flurries and or showers for parts of Nova Scotia. Other than that, a little bit of clearing from that system for the Maritime region, leaving a bit of sunshine, but seeing flurries return into the evening hours. If you're wondering about snowfall totals, we're looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation for parts of New Brunswick as well as Nova Scotia, 1 to 10 centimeters across Prince Edward Island, 1 to 5 as well for parts of Labrador, and the heavies being 15 to 30 centimeters for Gander. Over to our forecast today for New Brunswick. Starting off the day with light snowfall, transitioning over to a mix of sun and cloud into the afternoon. A chance of flurries returns into the evening with highs between -2 to +2, wind gusts of 40 kilometers per hour. For Prince Edward Island, highs between -1 to +1. Light snowfall will transition over to flurries into the evening. And for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, pretty much the same, but starting off with cloudy skies, seeing a lighter snowfall into the afternoon, and then seeing flurries into the evening, highs between -1 to 3 degrees. For the rest of Nova Scotia, looking at highs between 2 to 5, we are going to see flurries starting off the day into the afternoon. For mainland Nova Scotia, looking at flurries and/or showers, and seeing a bit of sunshine as well. Into the evening, flurries return, wind gusts of 40. For Labrador City, -4 degrees for your daytime high, looking at flurries throughout the day, 1 degree for St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at that heavy blowing snow. So for Thursday's forecast, sunshine returns for the most part. We still hold on to a bit of flurry activity for Cape Breton Island. Parts of Newfoundland and Labrador still seeing some lighter snowfall and flurries, but we are going to see temperatures cool back down. So becoming either seasonal or below seasonal for your daytime highs. But into Thursday night, pretty much the same. We start to see partly cloudy skies return into the overnight hours for the Maritime region. Friday's forecast, another sunny, colder day ahead. Still seeing snow for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to the Move Morning Chat. Welcome to the Move Morning Chat. Cue If I Had $1 Million by the Bare Naked Ladies, because this is kind of what we're talking about today. We want to know if you won the lottery, what's the first thing you'd buy? Aaron, Peter, why are we discussing this?
Well, this is just something that is living in my mind rent-free forever. I'm always thinking about becoming a bazillionaire and what I want to buy. And honestly, if I win the lottery, I am getting myself a PJ. I need a private jet to travel in style. Of course, you want to travel the world when you have unlimited money, but air travel these days isn't like too glamorous.
Nope.
So first thing I'd buy, my very own private jet. I'd have a nice champagne waiting for me, maybe a nice charcuterie board. You can stand up and walk around. You can dance. I mean, it just sounds like the perfect way to spend a ton of money. So that's my answer.
I want you to win now, and I want to come aboard your PJ.
You guys are all invited.
Yeah, I knew we were friends for some reason. Okay.
Right?
Peter?
I can't tell you how much I've thought about this, actually. I mean, of all the years, I don't buy lottery tickets every week, but when the jackpot gets really, really big, I tend to buy a lottery ticket, and I always assume that I'm going to win, right? I'm going to win this time. Never happens. But should it happen, again, because I've been thinking about this for a long time, I've already got it figured out. Same sort of thing. It would involve airline travel, but I would simply hire someone to look after my house because I'm going to be gone for a while. I would buy anyone in my family who wants a ticket on this airplane, and we are going to start off in Paris. And we are not coming back, or at least I'm not, for a year. Wow. I'm not coming back to Nova Scotia,
what about me?
Canada for a year.
Yeah, can I be part of your family for that one?
Right.
We're all on the plane, Peter. We're all on the plane.
They would be with me, my family, for as long as they could stand me, and then I'd buy them a ticket back. But I'm not coming back for a year. And then I'll come back once all of the dust is settled, and I'll still have millions and millions of dollars left to see me through to the end of my life.
I love it. I'm so there for it. And honestly, I think in my early years, it was definitely like, what am I gonna buy first? Like, what am I gonna do? But I think I need to do the responsible thing. There's been so many people in my life that have helped me out through the course of my life, right? And getting to this point, and my parents have literally moved me across the country 4 times. So I think I'd have to share a bit of the wealth first. That would be my first thing, would be to share it with my family and everyone who's done so much for me over the course of my life. And then we can all choose where we're going on vacation together, you know?
Okay.
I love that.
I definitely agree with you there. For me, it would be kind of selfish, though. I want to buy a house. That's been on my goal list since 2025. I'm still trying to get there. And you know what? 2025 was a rough year for my family. So honestly, I kept playing the lotto because I'm like, you know what? Something good is around the corner and I can feel it. Kept losing. So I kind of up and down with buying the lotto, but I should keep playing because I feel it. I'm going to win.
I mean, you do need that extra space. You have 2 little ones, you know, just that'd be ideal.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to pose this question to you, the viewers. We want to know what's the first thing you'd buy if you won the lottery. Text us at 10400, and we will share your answer later in the show.
Of course, if you've never texted us before, choose the Atlantic option on that bad boy.
Absolutely.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
Welcome back, and we want to know if you've ever watched any of the events at the Winter Games and wondered if you could do it. Well, you're not alone.
No, one Canadian content creator decided to try her hand at everything from skiing to skeleton. So CTV's Jessica Smith introduces us to the Out of Shape Olympics.
Watching the Winter Olympics has a lot of people saying, maybe I could do that.
I think I could give a hand at ice dance because you don't need to do any of the crazy jumps or anything like that.
Ice dancing or downhill skiing is my forte.
Ice skating? Maybe singles, yeah. Because every time I partnered with someone, that's where I get confused or I'll trip over them. Yeah. So just singles, I think it's possible.
To answer the question how the average Joe or armchair athlete would stack up against an Olympian, Toronto content creator Simona Stallone decided to take on the challenge.
There's a lot of hard work that goes into making something look effortless, and the purpose of this is the comedic twist of this is to showcase that in probably one of the most extreme kind of experiments, but I'm here for it. I commit to the bit, and I'm doing it for the plot.
Stallone created a social media series called the Out of Shape Olympics during the 2024 Summer Games, trying over 20 sports. Now she's back trying her hand at the Winter Games.
I think the whole purpose of the series obviously is one, to have fun, but two is to really showcase how amazing these Olympians are. This is Ewan.
How's it going?
Ski Patrol.
During every attempt, safety precautions are taken, reaching out to professionals in each sport she tries.
I reached out to Mount St. Louis. I was like, hey, this is my idea. This is what I want to do. They were super receptive, and they were very excited to be a part of it. But at the end of the day, they're like, hey, we're going to assign a ski patroller with you the entire day.
The hardest Winter Games sports she's tried so far.
I did do bobsledding, and I did do skeleton. And skeleton was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life.
But her favorite, a Canadian classic.
Oh my gosh, I love curling so much. I never expected to like it that much. I went in really with no expectations. What a sport.
Showing that no matter what place an Olympian finishes in, their hard work and dedication are a testament to their incredible skill level. Up next for Stallone, she's going to try her hand at figure skating events along with a little bit of snowboarding to continue to show her support for the Winter Olympics and its athletes in her own special way. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
Jessica with those moves too.
Right, she got the moves. Taking a look at our 3-day forecast in New Brunswick, a high of 1 today. We do have light snowfall starting off the day, clearing into the afternoon, leaving a mix of sun and cloud. Returning into the evening, some flurry activity. On Thursday, sunshine across the province with a high of 2, cooling down on Friday to 0. Sunshine remains in the forecast. For Nova Scotia, 4 degrees today. We do have flurries, light snowfall into the afternoon for mainland Nova Scotia, flurries under showers. Seeing some sunshine though, but into the evening, flurries return. On Thursday, 1 degree with a mix of sun and cloud. Isolated flurries return for Cape Breton Island. And then on Friday, sunny skies with increasing cloudiness for Prince Edward Island. 0 today with light snowfall. On Thursday, isolated flurries with a high of -1. Cooling down on Friday, -6 with sunshine.
It's Wednesday, February 18th. Today in Your Morning Atlantic, food inflation. Atlantic Canadians forking out the most money on groceries. Your top news headlines just ahead.
And the 2026 AUS Basketball Championships get underway. We'll get all the details about this incredibly popular tournament as they count down to tip-off. That story and so much more coming up on the Wednesday edition of Your Morning Atlantic.
Happy Hump Day, Atlantic Canada. The time now is 7 o'clock. We're midweek. It's the warmest day of the work week for parts of the region. So get ready for things to cool down starting tomorrow.
Ooh, enjoy the
Not
temperatures.
Yeah, it's going to start getting back below seasonal.
Okay. All right. We've been enjoying a nice little spell.
Yeah, we've been lucky.
Yeah.
We've been really fortunate.
What is below seasonal?
Well, for parts of the region, we're talking like -1, -2, -3,
Yeah.
and then into the weekends, like -8, -10.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty normal.
Okay, so what
It's below seasonal, so it's not normal typically, but I mean like for what we've been dealing with.
Right.
It's,
Yeah, lately.
So normally we're hovering around this freezing mark at this time of year?
No, usually, well, it depends on the place. Like for New Brunswick, yes, they're below -1, -2 usually, depending on where you are in New Brunswick, of course.
Yeah.
We're talking central and southern. And then for parts of Nova Scotia, 0, 2 degrees.
Yeah.
Pretty typical. Yeah, so it depends.
I like February here.
There are those flurries you were talking about in Summerside.
Oh, yeah. So we are seeing that light snowfall in Summerside as of right now. It is -6 degrees as you head outdoors. This will taper off, become a bit lighter into the late afternoon, transitioning over to a few flurries. We are going to see that active weather, though, across the region today. As of right now, -4 degrees in Fredericton, -7 in Charlottetown, -8 in Sydney, and -5 over in Cartwright, -6 in St. Anthony. Here's a look at that wind chill. So it is feeling cooler this morning, but much warmer than yesterday, and temperatures will rise into the afternoon. So keep in mind, we do still have a snowfall warning in effect for parts of Newfoundland, as well as a winter storm warning and an orange level winter storm warning, so seeing some heavier snowfall. Here's a look at our satellite and radar, that active weather for heavier blowing snow for parts of Newfoundland, so visibility could become an issue early this morning. Keep that in mind when you are heading out. For the Maritime region, light snowfall. We are going to see a bit of sunshine into the afternoon, but also seeing some mixed precipitation for parts of Nova Scotia. In terms of the wind, starting off a bit light, will continue to pick up into the afternoon. As of right now, 20 kilometers per hour in Yarmouth, 19 into North Cape, 15 in Sydney, 13 in Halifax. Wind gusts of up to 30 kilometers per hour right now in Yarmouth, 28 in North Cape. We'll take another look at the system coming up, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Investigators are trying to figure out what started a house fire in Halifax last night. Halifax Fire tells CTV News crews were called to the 6100 block of Lady Hammond Road around 8 p.m. The structure is a home that was turned into 2 rental units. Before firefighters arrived, Halifax police helped one person on the second floor get out. No one was hurt and the fire was quickly extinguished. Crews were on the scene for about an hour and a half. There is heavy damage on the first floor. Investigators will be on scene later this morning to try and determine how it all started. There was an unscheduled price adjustment in Prince Edward Island, and it means you'll pay less for diesel this morning. It's now below the $2 mark. Diesel decreased in P.E.I. by 12 cents a liter. The minimum price now $1.88.4. Prices did not change in Nova Scotia or New Brunswick. Well, this wasn't exactly a surprise. New Brunswick's deficit is higher than ever before, $1.3 billion. That's according to yesterday's fiscal update. Population growth is partly the reason. CTV's Laura Brown has more.
It's a record no one wants to set. At $1.33 billion, New Brunswick's deficit is higher than ever before.
We had 100,000 people move into this province and increase our revenue. The revenue generation came in immediately, but an extra 100,000 people in this province obviously brings its costs with it. The costs are coming in now.
Revenues from corporate and personal taxes and the HST are all down, while demand in health and social services rose by over $500 million, including a new contract with doctors, which cost $176 million alone. Legacy said if you total up all Canadian provinces' deficits from the second quarter, they equal over $45 billion.
So this is not a New Brunswick situation, it's an across-the-country situation.
That's cold comfort for the people worried about what this could mean for them.
We're leaving the legacy of the higher debt for future generations. So it's causing an effect where people might start saying, do I really want to live in New Brunswick where the tax rate is so incredibly high that for every dollar earned, my disposable income is very minimal?
Legacy was asked if this warrants his removal as finance minister. He said that's not his decision to make.
Should we have not taken off the PST portion on electricity and saved $90 million? Maybe. I'm not sure it would have helped New Brunswickers. Should we have not signed the nursing contract, the bonuses that we said we were going to do for a one-time expense? Maybe, but it did stabilize the situation with the nurses in health.
He's looking for more New Brunswickers' input on the situation. Deadline is Friday. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
Thank you, Laura. Finally, a magical musical is on stage at the Savoy Theatre. As CTV's Ryan McDonald shows us, Frozen is heating up the box office.
It's completely frozen.
It's one of the most well-known and most loved Disney movies of the 21st century.
It's so magical and fun and uplifting.
I never see you anymore. Come out the door.
Now, a production of the movie Frozen with local cast and crew is playing at the Savoy Theatre in Glace Bay. Catherine Woodward landed one of the biggest roles. She plays Elsa.
I just feel like there's something about a Disney show that's very important to have in a community because it's for the kid in all of us.
I love playing Anna. I feel like I relate to her a lot. I have an older sister.
For 22-year-old Bria Kelly, this is her first ever major role on stage, and it's in her hometown. She says that it's special to play a co-lead in a production of a movie that she first saw in theaters when she was only 9 years old.
I want people to take away just the story of love. I think it's so important now to really embrace our love for one another and just have a story of so much hope.
Literally, the rights became available and we grabbed them.
The executive director of the Savoy Theatre says a production like this helps with funding to keep the nearly 100-year-old theatre open.
Adults at intermission on the weekend were coming out into the lobby just crying, and just because it's a happy cry, it's a sad cry, it's a very emotional show. And the adults get that part of it.
I've been seeing a lot of little Elsas and Annas.
And while this, Anna and Elsa say there's nothing like seeing the expression on the little girls' faces in the crowd, everyone involved feels strongly that this is a show, well, for all ages. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Glace Bay.
Oh, thank you, Ryan. It's such a good musical, and there are some differences in the stage production than the film. Like, if you think about the film, all the music's really at the front end of the film. Not a lot on the back end. So they add new songs. So it is really
that,
cute.
though.
Yeah, it is really fun. And local talent.
I've never seen Frozen.
Oh, you haven't?
I saw it like 3 years ago.
It is good.
Never seen Frozen. I know the songs because my nephew used to sing from when he was like having his nap. When he was like 3, he would sing the Frozen songs, and then my niece is obsessed with Elsa. But yeah, I've never seen it.
It's really sweet and it's funny.
It is.
And that's saying it with having a child that didn't watch it on repeat, because I know a lot of kids go through that phase where they're like, go. But when it was on stage at Neptune in Halifax, when I got to go see that performance, kids dressed up.
Yeah.
Oh, so excited.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, well, we're going to go to a different type of stage, and that's on the pitch, because we have a glimpse at the preseason roster for the Halifax Tides, who are entering their second season in the Northern Super League, and some familiar faces, but some new ones too. So Tuesday, the team posted some reunions and some new faces stepping into BMO Field. Stephen Hart returning as head coach officially, and local talent Annika Leslie, Sarah Taylor, Sarah Miller, and Sid Kennedy lacing up again for the Tides this year. And yes, Annika Toth will be between the pipes again. Other crowd favorites see Megumi Nakamura, Jubes Valorant, Tiffany Cameron, and Eva Fermu. And we welcome to the East Coast Stella Downing, Kat Jordan, Nea Cardoza, and Cho So-Hugh. Their season starts April 25th at Wanderers grounds against Ottawa. So nice to be back in the swing of things, especially when it comes to the pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Fun fact, Brienne didn't even have a script. She just like knew all those names off the top of her head.
I'm like fan favorites, AKA people I love. No, it's exciting to see them lace up for a second year and to know how much support is behind women's soccer.
Yeah.
We also have the Wanderers starting. They released their schedule as well, so lots to look forward to as spring starts to make its way into our region.
Spring season slowly, but until then, let's admire this gorgeous winter sunrise. This is in Bedeck, Nova Scotia. The forecast is up next.
Welcome back. The time now is 7:13. We're taking a live look at Tangier, expecting a few flurries early in the morning before transitioning over to a chance of isolated flurries and or showers. Weather is brought to you by ALC Dossier. We are seeing active weather right across the board today, and temperatures will be warming up. It's a bit cool starting off your day. As of right now, -2 degrees in Fredericton, -7 in Charlottetown, -6 degrees early this morning in Halifax, -9 over in Sydney, a -10 in Labrador City, and 0 starting off your day in St. John's, Newfoundland. A snowfall warning this morning until Thursday for parts of Newfoundland, looking at around 10 to 20 centimeters of accumulation for snowfall. Wind gusts could get up to 80 kilometers per hour. We are looking at a winter storm warning as well. Snowfall 5 to 30 centimeters of accumulation. Wind gusts 60 to 100. We do have an orange level winter storm warning, so what that means is heavier snowfall totals at around 30 to 60 centimeters expected. Wind gusts will range from 80 to 100. So here's a look at that system currently tracking across the region. The heaviest of that snowfall, as we just mentioned, over in Newfoundland. Parts of Newfoundland seeing some heavy snow, blowing snow, so visibility could become an issue early this morning. Keep that in mind, that heavier snow will persist into the afternoon. For Labrador, looking at some light snowfall, and then for the Maritime region, all 3 Maritime provinces seeing either a few flurries or lighter snowfall early in the morning. As temperatures begin to rise, probably the warmest day of the work week for the Maritime region at least, we are going to see this system become mixed precipitation, looking at a chance of showers and or flurries for parts of the Maritimes, specifically across parts of Nova Scotia. But we will also see some sunshine into the afternoon before flurry activity returns into the evening. So if you're wondering about snowfall totals, looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation for parts of New Brunswick as well as into Nova Scotia, looking at 1 to 10 centimeters for Prince Edward Island, 1 to 5 as well for Labrador City, and the heaviest being 15 to 30 centimeters into Gander. For a forecast today for New Brunswick, looking at daytime highs between -2 to +2. Snowfall starting off your day, clearing into the afternoon, leaving a mix of sun and cloud, but flurries return into the evening. Wind gusts also getting up to 40 kilometers per hour. Prince Edward Island highs between -1 to +1, light snowfall, and then evening flurries for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia. Bit of a cloudy start to the day, seeing that light snowfall into the late morning, carrying into the afternoon, transitioning over to flurries into the evening. Daytime highs between -1 to 3 degrees. And then for the rest of Nova Scotia, looking at flurries starting off your day into the afternoon, especially for mainland Nova Scotia, looking at a chance of flurries and or showers, a bit of sunny breaks as well, and then into the evening, flurries return. Labrador City looking at a few flurries as well, a high of -4 degrees, and 1 degree into St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at that heavy blowing snow expected throughout your day. So for Thursday's forecast, seeing sunshine return for most of the Maritime region, but we also see a flurry activity for early in the morning for Cape Breton Island. Newfoundland, Labrador still dealing with some lighter snowfall, and then into Thursday night, pretty much the same, temperatures cooling back down. Into Friday morning, sunshine returns, but we also see cooler temperatures before we enter into the weekend. So that's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda for your national and international news headlines.
Thank you, Latavia. America is saying goodbye to Jesse Jackson. The 84-year-old civil rights leader marched with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and helped pave the way for U.S. President Barack Obama. CTV's Heather Wright looks at his life, legacy, and his connection to Canada.
I am. A skilled orator, a passionate advocate, Jesse Jackson spent 6 decades building bridges, helping the less fortunate, and fighting for racial equality.
Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Born in the segregated South in 1941 to a teenage mother, Jackson was in seminary school when he traveled to Selma, Alabama to march for voting rights, meeting Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for the first time. He soon began working with the civil rights leader and was at the motel in Memphis, Tennessee, the night King was assassinated.
We ain't the bottom. We the foundation.
Jackson soon emerged as the most high-profile successor to Dr. King, though some accused the Baptist minister of capitalizing on King's death.
Our flag is red, white, and blue, but our nation is rainbow. Red, yellow, brown, black, and white.
One of the most prominent American politicians of the 1980s and 90s, Jackson started the Rainbow Coalition, focusing on social justice and economic empowerment. Jackson ran for president twice in 1984 and 1988, considered the first black candidate to be a serious contender. And though he was never the Democratic nominee, his work helped pave the path for the election of President Barack Obama in 2008. Jackson watched with tears in his eyes as Obama was declared the winner. A mediator and negotiator, Jackson helped secure the release of international prisoners and hostages.
Well, we've been invited to by the Mohawks.
And in 1990, he flew to Quebec to try and break a deadlock during the Oka crisis, one of the many times he crossed international borders to help marginalized communities.
To address issues from the ground up, issues that affect racialized people, youth, justice issues, faith-based issues.
Jackson was not without fault. During his first presidential campaign, he used an anti-Semitic slur to describe New York City, later apologizing. And in 2001, he admitted to fathering a child out of wedlock.
This campaign has taught me much.
In announcing his death today, his family called him a real servant leader who elevated the voice of the voiceless. Jesse Jackson was 84. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
And Jesse Jackson paid a visit to our region 17 years ago, back in 2009. His visit involved a surprise stop at Cole Harbour High School, where he spoke to students. From there, he visited the Black Cultural Centre before sitting down with CTV Atlantic to talk about the history of African Nova Scotian community, of which he was very knowledgeable.
But I know so much about it because so many friends have come here across the years, because as we look at the African diaspora, so many who were enslaved in Africa who came to the Americas escaped slavery there coming here, a significant body to Nova Scotia. And of course other parts of Canada. This was the land of escape, for them the land of freedom. So there's a rich history of the African Canadian community here in Nova Scotia.
Given that history.
And you can see the interview with Reverend Jesse Jackson in its entirety on the Video Vault section of our website, that is ctvnewsatlantic.ca. A quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, we'll get details on the 2026 Bell AUS Basketball Championships. That's coming up next. Please stay with us.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
Welcome back. The 2026 AUS Basketball Championships are Atlantic Canada's premier university basketball event, bringing the very best of women's and men's teams together for one unforgettable weekend. And it's going to be at the Scotiabank Centre this weekend from February 20th to 22nd with 10 games over 3 days, championship banners on the line, and berths to U Sport Nationals are at stake. So everyone in the building is going to be electric. So here to talk about it is John Keefe, interim CEO and president of AUS. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Brianne. Thanks for having me.
All right. For
Yeah,
those who have never been, which is wild to think of,
come on.
What can they expect?
Yeah, no, I mean, you kind of covered it there in the start, but, you know, the best 6 female and 6 male teams are going to descend on Scotiabank Centre this weekend, and their seasons are on the line. They're playing for the banners and they're playing for their trophies, but, you know, they're also playing for a berth in national championships. Some teams are playing, some student athletes are playing for their careers. Like, this could be their last game of their careers. So yeah, no, we're looking forward to hosting all the amazing student athletes and the coaches and the officials and of course the fans.
Why is it such a big event for Halifax?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. You know, when I think about all the teams that come from all around Atlantic Canada, they're all descending into Halifax. So, you know, we've got teams from Newfoundland and P.E.I. and New Brunswick, and of course Nova Scotia, and they all come into downtown Halifax. And, you know, the economic spin-off of our event is tremendous for the downtown core. You know, we put a lot of people through the Scotiabank Centre. Last year we set a record for attendance. So for the city is a great thing, for the province is a great thing, and for the AUS it's a great opportunity to profile our student athletes on a big stage.
Speaking of those student athletes, we have some exciting storylines. Who should people be watching for this?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of storylines. You know, on the women's side, you know, UNB finished first place this year, so I know the Reds are looking to come to town and hopefully take care of business. You know, we've had St. Mary's win the championship the last 3 years on the women's side, so I think there's a lot of teams that are gunning for the title. And to knock them off, St. Mary's is back in the event. Of course, you know, Acadia is second seed, and they've got one of the best players in the conference in Samantha Russell. So I think she's graduating this year, so I'm looking for big things from her. And of course, you know, P.E.I. and St. FX are strong. So the big thing with the women's side is it's unpredictable. Anybody can win. And on the men's side, you know, you'd have to look at the St. FX X-Men. They just finished an incredible run in their season. They won the last 10 games in a row to finish in first place. And a little bit of the same story. You know, Coach Vernon's looking to, you know, probably finish off his season a little better than last year. He got to the final last year, but the P.E.I. Panthers were successful in the final, and it was an exciting year. In front of a huge crowd. So I think, you know, St. FX is in first place, but again, there's a lot of parity in the league, and there'll be a lot of teams there looking to take the title.
I mean, this is one of those amazing experiences that people go through in Atlantic Canada. Why is it so captivating for the audience beyond the basketball?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it all starts with the basketball, and it starts with the student athletes. And I think that, you know, when these kids are playing for their careers and their seasons, the product on the court takes care of itself. You know, we're going to see a lot of close games, a lot of, you know, come down to the wire, buzzer beaters, and those kinds of things. But you know, when you come to Scotiabank Centre, we take great pride in also making sure that the fan experience is top-notch. So when people come down and experience the basketball, the phenomenal basketball, that's great. But we go out of our way to make sure that, you know, half-times are entertaining.
100%
and you know, we've engaged with the minor basketball community, so our version of the Timbits hockey that you would see at the Mooseheads every year, we're going to see a lot of the youngsters out there in the community playing basketball at halftime.
And if you haven't been, you really need to go. We do have to go to break here, but there's so much going on. Get there. I was there last year. I'm going this year, so we'll see you there when you go. Thanks so much for joining us.
No, thanks for having me.
Just ahead this half hour, Ask the Experts. We'll chat with the folks at Allen Marshall & Associates to get their tips on avoiding tax debt this season. That's coming up on Your Morning Atlantic.
Oh boy, definitely don't want tax debt. 7:32 is the time on this Wednesday morning, February 18th. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if you were just tuning in, we've got lots to get to when it comes to weather and news.
Yeah.
You're going to be paying a lot less for diesel in P.E.I. Just a surprise drop overnight by 12 cents.
Good for them. That's a drastic drop.
Significant drop, but no other drops for the other provinces or for gas. It's just the diesel. But
just diesel, just P.E.I.
Yeah, just P.E.I. for that one. Now, are you going to be shivering if you have to, like, fill up the tank?
It's actually not too cold outside, which is great, but we are seeing active weather across the region. Here's a live look at Belleville Cove. As of this morning, you can see the sun is already beginning to rise. 2 degrees starting off your day, so a warmer start than most. As of right now, it is -2 heading outdoors in Fredericton, -7 in Charlottetown, -6 in Halifax, -9 in Sydney, with -6 over in Happy Valley Goose Bay, and 0 into St. John's, Newfoundland. Still seeing the wind chill factor in early this morning, but temperatures will rise into the afternoon above seasonal daytime highs for parts of Atlantic Canada. We do have a snowfall warning in effect for parts of Newfoundland, as well as a winter storm warning. And winter storm warning also an orange level 1, which means it's just heavier for our snowfall totals. Here's a look at our satellite and radar. So we are seeing this flurry activity for the Maritime region become a little bit heavier. So light snowfall for the most part, but the heaviest of this snow is situated into parts of Newfoundland. We are going to see heavy snow, blowing snow, so keep that in mind when you are heading out early this morning. And for Labrador, also seeing a few flurries as well. In terms of the wind, it's slowly picking up. As of right now, it is 22 kilometers per hour in North Cape, 19 in Yarmouth and Lunenburg, 15 in Halifax, wind gusts of 31 kilometers per hour in North Cape. We'll take another look at the system coming up, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Investigators trying to figure out what started a house fire in Halifax last night. Halifax Fire tells CTV News crews were called to the 6100 block of Lady Hammond Road around 8 p.m. The structure is a home that was turned into 2 rental units. Before firefighters arrived, Halifax police helped one person on the 2nd floor get out. No one was hurt, and the fire was quickly extinguished. Crews were on scene for about an hour and a half. There is heavy damage on the 1st floor. Investigators will be on scene this morning to try and determine how it started. RCMP in Nova Scotia's Kings County are hoping you can help them locate a man in connection with an armed robbery in Colebrook Monday. Police were called to a restaurant in the 7100 block of Highway 1 around 3:20 p.m. after a man entered the business, placed a weapon on the counter, and demanded money before fleeing. Investigators believe he jumped into a waiting car and fled the scene. The vehicle, believed to be a blue or gray four-door Chevy Cruze from 2010. The suspect had light-colored hair and facial hair, 5'7" to 9" with a slim build. Anyone with information is asked to contact RCMP. Food prices in our part of the country have once again soared higher than anywhere else. What's more, it's the second consecutive month that's happened. CTV's Jonathan McGinnis breaks down the numbers and what's behind them.
Nationally, food inflation jumped to 7.3% year over year in January. That's up from 6.2% in December, according to a Stats Canada report released Tuesday. Those numbers surprised the experts.
Well, actually, we were expecting a rate of 6.5%, so an increase from 6.2%, but we're now at 7.3%, which is incredibly high.
The numbers are even more shocking in our region. Food inflation in New Brunswick sits at 9%, a touch higher in Nova Scotia at 9.2%, and P.E.I. comes in at 10.1%. Some products are more expensive than others.
Essentially protein, so you have to think about beef. Beef is up again 18.8%, so that's still going up. Pork is also a big issue.
Tamara McKay is the PR manager at the Gateway Meat Market, a discount grocer in the Halifax area.
Every time food prices go up elsewhere, we kind of get more of an influx of customers because we are more of a discounted grocery store, and that leads to people wanting to make a longer drive to find more affordable groceries.
There was some good news in the Stats Can report. Prices dropped for things like eggs and fresh fruit. Jonathan McInnes, CTV News, Westfall, Nova Scotia.
New Brunswick's deficit is higher than ever before, $1.3 billion, according to the province's fiscal update.
We had 100,000 people move into this province and increase our revenue. The revenue generation came in immediately, but an extra 100,000 people in this province obviously brings its costs with it. The costs are coming in now.
We're leaving the legacy of the higher debt for future generations. So it's causing an effect where people might start saying, do I really want to live in New Brunswick where the tax rate is so incredibly high that for every dollar earned, that my disposable income is very minimal?
Finance Minister Renee Legacy said it will be extremely difficult for the Liberal government to balance the books by the end of its current mandate. The Liberals are asking New Brunswickers for their input on where to cut in next month's budget, with options including civil service reductions, selling government property, and tolls on out-of-province vehicles. The deadline for that input is Friday. Finally, an unscheduled price adjustment in Prince Edward Island means you will pay less for diesel. It's now back below the $2 mark. In P.E.I, diesel decreased by 12 cents a litre overnight. The minimum price now $1.88.4 a litre. Price of gas on the island did not change, and prices also didn't change in New Brunswick or Nova Scotia. And of course, there is we'll have the latest numbers for you on Friday for when the prices will change again. Yes, Thursday night into Friday morning. Maybe we'll see the decrease continue.
Maybe.
That would be great.
That'd be nice.
That'd
Considering we're seeing
great.
the inflation with the food, we would love to see the decrease.
Yeah. I mean, what goes up must go down.
Yeah, that is
right?
true. That is true.
One would hope.
One would hope.
One would hope. Controversy there, but controversy on the sheet as well around Canadian curling at the Winter Games. As it stands now, though, Brad Jacobs and Team Canada will play Italy today after beating Great Britain yesterday. And Rachel Homan and her rink also play the host nation after a win against Sweden Wednesday. But here's another controversial look at curling. Human curling!
They oil themselves up?
Yeah, apparently. I thought it was water at first.
Okay, no, what they really need to do is just poke the human a little bit past the hog line,
yes.
right?
Yes, that's exactly it. They're not doing it properly. But, I mean, they're pretty accurate with their aim, I think.
Oh, my.
Would you try this?
Absolutely. Looks like a good time.
Oh, my son, he said that they did curling in school, and I said, how did you guys do curling? And he said they did it with skateboards. And he said, well, we weren't sweeping.
We weren't sweeping. So adorable. I
love it.
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember those little ones we had in P.E.? The little, it's not skateboards, but the little ones that are like squares.
Yeah.
Remember those? Oh,
yeah.
When you said that, it just reminded me, it took me back, way back.
If you don't remember that, that means you are too young.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, you could buy those if you won the lottery.
Yes.
You could get them for all the staff at your work if you wanted to. It's our Move Morning Chat. What's the first thing you'd buy if you won the lottery? One of the text messages we've received was from one of our viewers, and she was saying she'd make her husband retire.
Oh,
that would be the first thing.
That's nice.
Which would be a gift. So 10400 is the number. If you haven't sent us a text yet, what are you waiting for?
Right?
Like
Exactly.
we'd love to hear from you. You can send us photos too. Receive some beautiful photos actually from a viewer in Prince Edward Island. So we'll try to get those ready for you to share, I think, on the show tomorrow.
Perfect.
Hey.
Yeah.
But of course, we also have a great contest to tell you about right now. So CTV, along with our partners at Kent Building Supplies, want you to enter the Kent Big Bucket giveaway. So once a month, we'll reveal a different prize in the bucket, and you give you a chance to win. So this month, it will be a made-for-supply workshop prize pack. To enter, head to ctvatlantic.ca. The contest closes this Saturday, and we'll announce the winner on February 27th. So good luck.
If you missed it too, the segment's up on our website so you can see the prize.
Yes, exactly.
And the
pretty
big
awesome.
bucket.
Yeah.
You need a big bucket for that prize.
I would use that prize as like drawers in my bedroom because I don't have any right now.
That big bucket?
Not the big bucket, but the tool shed.
Oh, okay.
The tool shed. Just the fanciest.
Yeah.
All right, another break on this Wednesday. Lots more to come. Latavia has the Wednesday forecast. And then avoiding debt this tax season. We'll ask the experts at Allen Marshall & Associates for their tips. Please stay with us. We'll be right back at 7:41.
Welcome back and happy Wednesday. The time now is 7:45. We're taking a live look at Shelburne. 1 degree starting off your day, expecting flurries early in the morning. Clearing, we'll start to see that cloud coverage break down, leaving a bit of sunshine into your afternoon. We are going to see active weather right across the region today. Temperatures slowly warming up, but not too bad starting off the day. As of right now, -2 degrees in Fredericton, -6 in Charlottetown, -9 over in Sydney with -5 into Halifax, -4 degrees over in Cartwright, -6 in St. Anthony. We do have a snowfall warning in effect for parts of Newfoundland until Thursday. We are expecting around 10 to 20 centimeters of accumulation. Wind gusts will range from 50 to 80. And a winter storm warning as well. We're looking at snowfall between 5 to 30 centimeters, and wind gusts could get up to 100 kilometers per hour. An orange level winter storm warning, which just means we're going to see that heavier snowfall at around 30 to 60 centimeters of accumulation, and wind gusts also getting up to 100 kilometers per hour. So here's a look at that current system tracking across the maritime region, looking at a few flurries becoming lighter snowfall for parts of the region. And then into the afternoon, we'll start to see that clear out even more. We are going to see some sunshine already building up for parts of New Brunswick. In behind this system, as you can see here, we're going to get some mixed precipitation for parts of the maritime region because those temperatures are really beginning to warm up for our daytime highs. So looking at flurries and or showers into the afternoon. Also going to see sunshine though. Newfoundland, Labrador. Okay, Labrador is looking at some light snowfall as well. Newfoundland seeing the heaviest of this system. Heavy snow, blowing snow, so visibility could be an issue for you. Keep that in mind when you're heading out on your commute. So into the evening, pretty much the same, slowly clearing out of the maritime region. Is still holding on to some of that flurry activity. Labrador looking at some light snowfall yet again early into Thursday morning. Newfoundland holding on to that snowfall until clearing out for the most part on Thursday. If you're wondering about accumulation, we're looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters for parts of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, 1 to 10 centimeters across Prince Edward Island, 1 to 5 for Labrador City, parts of Labrador rather, and then 1 to 30 for parts of Newfoundland. Here's a look at our forecast today for New Brunswick, looking at light snowfall, clearing, leaving a mix of sun and cloudy to the afternoon. Highs between -2 to +2, wind gusts of 40 kilometers per hour. For Prince Edward Island, looking at some light snowfall as well into the evening, transitions over to flurry activity, highs between -1 to +1. For Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, starting off a bit cloudy and then seeing light snowfall into the late morning, carrying into the afternoon, becoming flurries into the evening with highs between -1 to 3 degrees. For the rest of Nova Scotia, bit tricky, seeing some lighter snowfall starting off the day, transitioning into the afternoon for mainland Nova Scotia to a chance of flurries and or showers. Seeing sunny breaks as well into the afternoon, but into the evening, seeing flurries return. Wind gusts of 40 and highs between 2 to 5. Labrador City, a high of -4. Looking at flurries throughout your day, 1 degree into St. John's, Newfoundland, that heavy blowing snow persisting throughout your day as well. So Thursday's forecast, we start to see sunshine return for parts of the Maritime region, holding on to flurry activity into the afternoon for parts of Cape Breton Island. Newfoundland, Labrador still seeing some flurry activity. That takes us into Thursday night, pretty much the same, partly cloudy skies for all 3 maritime provinces, and seeing that snowfall persist for Newfoundland and Labrador. Friday's forecast, temperatures begin to cool down even further before we enter into the weekend. We are going to see sunshine return for the Maritimes, still holding on to light snowfall for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador. So that's a look at your weather forecast. Now let's talk about tax season, and for that we head to the experts. Tax season will be here before you know it. And if you're in need of some help filing your taxes this year, or dealing with tax debt, or you're looking for a new place to go, licensed insolvency trustee Mark Marshall with our partners at Allen Marshall and Associates is here to share details on what you need to know before filing. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
Okay, so tax season, as I just mentioned, right around the corner. So what are some recommendations you have for individuals who need help avoiding falling into tax debt in the first place?
Well, it's one of those things is that generally individuals won't know that they have any tax debt until they've actually filed their tax returns. And so that is, key is step one is filing your tax returns. And then seeing where you stand. And generally most employers, if you're a T4 employee, will be deducting enough income tax at source that you should be breaking even. You want to make sure in consulting with your employer is that they are withholding the proper amount of taxes at source. That would be step one, and that would help you alleviate any, surprises when you file your tax returns to see that there's the big tax debt. Another issue that people sometimes will run into to avoid tax debt is if they're working multiple jobs, is that they'll be taxed at source is by one employer or the 2 employers as if that's the only source of income they have. So the minimum taxes will be coming out, and it won't necessarily be enough with the 2 incomes driving them up into the next tax bracket. So a lot of times consulting with your employer to make sure that proper amount of taxes are withheld, making sure that they understand kind of where you stand as an employee, that you're working more than one job, and making sure that enough taxes are coming out at source. That'd be step number one.
Absolutely. And for someone who's already struggling with debt, when would you suggest that individual reach out for help if their tax debt feels like it's getting out of hand?
Well, I think it's one of those things. Again, I meet with clients on a daily basis that some will be aware of their tax debt and they'll come in and want to discuss options that we can help in terms of alleviating the tax pressure. Some people will come in and they'll be under the impression that they owe tax debt, but they haven't filed their tax returns, or maybe if they're self-employed, they haven't filed their HST returns up to date. So generally, again, the first thing that I would recommend to anybody that's concerned about their tax issues would be to make sure that they're filing everything up to date first. Know where they stand with the tax department and with the CRA, and then we can consult in terms of how things should be handled in terms of the pressure they might be having from the tax debt that's lingering around.
And speaking of options available, based on your experience, what is the most common factor that has led individuals to owing taxes and ultimately needing help from a licensed insolvency trustee?
I would say that the biggest issue we run into with people running into tax debt would be self-employed individuals and dealing with HST or the GST component of that. The HST returns generally should be filed on a quarterly basis. Some, depending on the type of industry you're in, will do it on a yearly basis, but I'd recommend to most people to do it on a quarterly basis so that there's no end of the year surprises. But oftentimes that's the biggest issue that we're seeing is that, people will file their HST returns and they've been collecting HST and instead of making the remittances, they've been using it for cash flow or to continue to do business operations when in fact it should be money that should be handed over to the CRA. So oftentimes when I meet with self-employed individuals, my number one recommendation is to make sure that they have a really good bookkeeper, make sure that they're doing their filings on a regular basis, making sure that they're setting up a separate account to make sure their HST remittances are set aside so that they can make sure that they can pay those on a quarterly basis.
And for anyone listening who is feeling overwhelmed or worried about debt that they owe, what is the most important thing you would want them to know?
Well, that there's options, especially when it comes to income tax and the biggest misconception most people, and I'll hear it regularly is they'll say, "Oh, I didn't think that I could do anything with the income tax owing, or I didn't think that I could do anything with any government debt." And in Canada, under the Bankruptcy and Insolvency Act, there's options available for people to deal with income tax debt or HST debts owing to the Crown. Is it either through a proposal or worst case scenario, a bankruptcy? There's options for people to alleviate that pressure. Unlike what they might kind of recognize or the medium that they're following in the United States, it's a little different with the IRS, but in Canada, we do have options for that.
Very good information to know. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you.
And that was Mark Marshall with our partners over at Allen Marshall and Associates.
Thank you so much, you two. Health and medical news now. Scaling back social media use, even for just a week, can have a significant positive effect on mental health. It is one of the topics in Your Health with CTV's Stephanie Seikos.
Young adults who took just a 7-day social media break saw noticeable improvements in their mental health, a new JAMA Network Open study suggests. After a week off apps like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, participants reported lower levels of anxiety and depression, and even insomnia. Those who had started with more severe symptoms had the greatest benefits. Researchers say constant scrolling can amplify stress and negative comparisons, and even short breaks may give the brain time to reset. The long-term effects of taking a social media timeout are still unknown, but in the short term, a simple digital pause could offer a real mood boost. 2 brands of birth control pills prescribed in Canada have been recalled due to packaging errors. The public advisory warns users not to skip any doses and to get to a pharmacy for a replacement or alternative if possible. The recall by Teva Canada followed a complaint from a user who noted a package of the pills was missing an entire blister card. Upon investigation, the company issued a recall of 2 lots of Seasonique and 1 lot of Seasonal. In addition to possible pregnancy, the recall notes missing a pill may lead to other side effects like spotting or irregular bleeding. New research suggests that body weight and childhood doesn't lock in the future. It's long-term health trends that matter most. Published in the Journal of the American Medical Association's Pediatrics, the study of more than 100,000 people found that children with higher weight who reached the recommended weight range by early adulthood had no extra risk of developing heart disease later on. The highest risk was seen in those who added extra pounds during puberty, even if they were slim in early childhood. This suggests the timing of body changes may matter just as much as the numbers on a scale.
Well, we have just one milestone to pass along today. It's a 65th anniversary for Morton and Doris Reinhardt of Bishopville, Nova Scotia. What a fantastic photo. Happy anniversary to you two. What a beautiful time. Now, to see your milestone again or to find out how to submit one, visit our website by scanning the QR code on your screen. And a reminder that milestones must be received 2 weeks in advance.
All right, now we're going to take another look at our 3-day forecast. Starting off in New Brunswick, a high of 1. Light snowfall starting off your day, clearing into the afternoon, leaving a mix of sun and cloud. Thursday, 2 degrees with lots of sunshine across the province. Same thing for Friday, but cooling down further to 0. Nova Scotia looking at a high of 4 degrees today. We do have light snowfall and or showers, especially into the afternoon. Flurries return into the evening. Then on Thursday, 1 degree, a mix of sun and cloud. Isolated flurries continue for Cape Breton. And then on Friday, -1 and lots of sunshine. Prince Edward Island, a high of 0, light snowfall across the island today. On Thursday, -1, isolated flurries. On Friday, sunshine returns, cooling to -6.
Wednesday, February 18th, today on Your Morning Atlantic, food inflation. Atlantic Canadians forking out the most money on groceries. Your top news headlines just ahead.
And don't you worry, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. But if we will get a look from the Food Growers Association of Nova Scotia, because apples are the perfect pairing with cheese, and it's Apple Month. Did you know? We'll have all those details coming up in 15 minutes on CTV Morning Live.
Hey, good if you are having an apple today, maybe you can thank the growers. In Nova Scotia, we do really have exceptional apples around here.
My favorite, I love an apple. Like a nice crisp apple when you bite into it and it crunches and you're just like, yes, this is exactly what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Growing up, it was always my snack. Like after school snack was apple, cheese, and crackers.
Perfect.
For all I could remember, right? And so like for me, like, I mean,
everything.
The kids' charcuterie board, right?
Yeah.
Still great as adults.
Yes.
So
Do you
I'll
have a
take it.
favorite apple?
Oh my gosh, it's hard to pick. I love Gala. I love Macintosh. A good Honeycrisp too.
I love Honeycrisp. Yeah.
So good, but I like to cut them.
Yep.
Yes.
So mine's a russet apple.
Oh,
russet. But you can only get them in the fall, right? Like that's the only time they grow, and they look so like they're dead and gross because they're like brown and everything. But the flavor in those bad boys.
I used to only love Granny Smith.
Really?
Yeah, super sour. Like,
Yeah.
But then after, I was like, no. Mild it out a little bit. A little more sweet side than.
It's funny because my favorite like candy flavor of anything is green apple.
So interesting.
Right? So, you know.
We're going to be speaking to the growers themselves.
About real apples, not candy apples.
How do you like them apples?
I don't like these apples.
Well, yeah. We're seeing active weather right across the region today. Something to keep in mind when you are heading out early this morning. Burnt Coat Head currently -2 degrees as you head outdoors. It's not too bad starting off the day in terms of the current temperatures. A bit warmer than yesterday. As of right now, -2 degrees into Fredericton. Early this morning, Charlottetown is -6. -9 in Sydney, -5 in Halifax, -4 over in Cartwright, and -3 in Gander. Taking a look at that wind chill factoring in early this morning. Temperatures will rise, though, into the afternoon for our daytime highs. A snowfall warning in effect for parts of Newfoundland, as well as a winter storm warning. We do have an orange level winter storm warning, just meaning heavier snowfall expected in that area. Here's a look at our satellite and radar. As I mentioned, heavier snowfall for parts of Newfoundland, looking at blowing snow as well, so visibility could become an issue. Other than that, looking at some lighter snowfall for parts of Labrador into the Maritime region as well. We are going to see into the afternoon, as temperatures rise, a chance of flurries and or showers for parts of Nova Scotia. In terms of the wind, it's going to continue to pick up, become a bit breezy into the afternoon. As of right now, 22 kilometers per hour in North Cape and Charlottetown, 19 in Halifax and Lunenburg. One wind gust to notify you of, getting up to 31 in North Cape. We'll take another look at your long-range forecast just ahead. First, a look at your local news with Amanda.
Investigators trying to figure out what started a house fire in Halifax last night. Halifax Fire tells CTV News crews were called to the 6100 block of Lady Hammond Road around 8 p.m. The structure is a home that was turned into 2 rental units. Before firefighters arrived, Halifax police helped one person on the 2nd floor get out. No one was hurt and the fire was quickly extinguished. Crews were also on the scene for about an hour and a half. There was heavy damage to the 1st floor. Investigators will be on scene this morning to try and determine how the fire started. RCMP in Nova Scotia's Kings County are hoping you can help them locate a man in connection with an armed robbery in Coldbrook on Monday. Police were called to a restaurant in the 7100 block of Highway 1 around 3:20 p.m. after a man entered the business, placed a weapon on the counter, and demanded money before fleeing. Investigators believed he jumped into a waiting car and fled the scene. The vehicle's believed to be either a blue or gray 4-door Chevy Cruze from 2010. The suspect had light-colored hair and facial hair, 5'7" to 9", with a slim build. Anyone with information is asked to contact RCMP. Ottawa is committing some serious money to grow Canada's defense sector and the jobs that go with it. CTV's Nick Moore looked into how that money can make an impact here.
Canadian jobs created right here.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says a $6.6 billion plan to build up the domestic defense sector will add 125,000 jobs over the next decade.
As a matter of policy, military procurement in areas where we have sovereign capabilities will be directed to Canadian firms first.
Independent defense and security analyst Ken Hansen says the Atlantic region can benefit from that focus.
The shipbuilding part and the submarine building part, if they follow the formula that was so successful with the Arctic and offshore patrol ships, will bring new invigorating funds and a demand. Those people can come from all across the country and the materials need to come from all across the country as well.
New Brunswick Premier Susan Holt says she's been working directly with Ottawa over the past several months to have more federal money go to base Gagetown. In a statement today, the Premier's office says federal officials have indicated that money for infrastructure approaching $1 billion could be directed to Gagetown. Nick Moore, CTV News, Fredericton.
Thank you, Nick. Staying with Money Matters, food prices in our part of the country have once again soared higher than anywhere else. Nationally, food inflation jumped to 7.3% year over year in January. That's up from 6.2% in December. The numbers are even more shocking in our region. Food inflation in New Brunswick sits at 9%, a touch higher in Nova Scotia at 9.2%, and P.E.I. comes in at 10.1%.
Essentially protein, so you have to think about beef. Beef is up again 18.8%, so that's still going up. Pork is also a big issue.
Every time food prices go up elsewhere, we kind of get more of an influx of customers because we are more of a discounted grocery store, and that leads to people wanting to make a longer drive to find more affordable groceries.
Some good news in the StatsCan report. Prices dropped for items like eggs and fresh fruit. New Brunswick's deficit is higher than ever before, $1.3 billion. That's according to the province's fiscal update. It's also an increase of almost $800 million from the spring budget.
We had 100,000 people move into this province and increase our revenue. The revenue generation came in immediately, but an extra 100,000 people in this province obviously brings its costs with it. The costs are coming in now.
We're leaving the legacy of the higher debt for future generations. So it's causing an effect where people might start saying, do I really want to live in New Brunswick where the tax rate is so incredibly high that for every dollar earned, my disposable income is very minimal?
Finance Minister Renee Legacy said it will be extremely difficult for the Liberal government to balance the books by the end of its current mandate. The Liberals are asking New Brunswickers for input on where to cut in next month's budget, with options including civil service reductions, selling government property, and tolls on out-of-province vehicles. That deadline for feedback is Friday. Finally, there was an unscheduled price adjustment in P.E.I, and it does mean you'll pay less if you fill up with diesel. So diesel dropped by 12 cents a litre overnight, so it's now below the $2 mark, now sitting at a minimum price of $1.88.4 a litre. Price of gas did not change in P.E.I, and we didn't see a drop in diesel prices in Nova Scotia or in New Brunswick, though we'll have the latest numbers for all three provinces, regardless if they go up or down on Friday morning.
Yep.
It's always a tricky game I like to play. Should I fill up on Thursday or wait till Friday?
Oh, yeah.
Inevitably, it's always the reverse of whatever it is I do.
Really? Every time?
Every time. Although it's the early horse, so maybe things have changed for me. Who's to say?
I mean, horses don't need diesel.
No.
Or gas.
That is true.
Horses like apples, though. And
They do.
We're going to get a nice taste of apples in a bit. But before we go to that sweet, healthy treat, we're going to a different sweet treat. Our dear friend, Aaron Hopkins, did us a solid and reviewed some of the newest sweet treats in town.
So Craig's Cookies just opened their first location in Halifax. I haven't had a chance to go down to the store yet, but they were kind enough to send over a surprise mix of their cookies. So let's take a look at what's going on here. So the surprise box, you can get a 6-pack for $19 or a 12-pack. I think it's $36. These smell crazy. It's like they're Mars bar cookies.
So yes, Aaron had a taste test and they look crazy, they smell crazy. So I went in yesterday and I decided to get a little treat for the crew today.
Oh my goodness.
Angel.
So it smelled amazing in there. I asked them, I was like, how do you work in here and not put on 500 pounds just like standing here?
Oh yeah.
I should clean my, I know which one I want. I should sanitize my hands before I reach in there.
I will grab it for you.
Oh my goodness, you don't even know what to take.
There are so many flavors. There are like, they have like Kit Kat bars in them. They have Score bars in them.
Oh my goodness.
I want the Score bar one, please. And that, oh yeah, that one with the goo. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Gummy bears in them. You have a gummy bear on the back of yours too.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So.
Oh wow.
These are. Where's the camera? Above camera 7. Where's camera 7? Over there. Okay. Well, these are, I'm like, I have no idea. They're amazing, and like, there's so many. Yes, the crew all gets them because I made sure that I got one for everybody on crew. There's a different one of every single kind. There's gummies, there's chocolate, there's so much goodness.
I don't know. JW, who's one of our crew members, I mean, he makes a pretty good cookie.
He does make a mean cookie. But, you know, we had to try the latest sweet treat in town. So we're going to try these, and we're going to go to break. And then we're going to talk about apples, which are healthier. But that's a little bit later. Let's try these.
I already started.
Oh, my God. Okay, all right. Well, I got it.
Oh, my God. What is yours?
I have no idea. Caramel something.
Yours is a big piece of chocolate in the middle.
And caramel. Here's a look at Chris's favorite roundabout. Oh, my gosh. This is amazing. And I bought these yesterday. So they stay overnight, folks. They stay overnight. We'll be back.
We're gonna make some coffee, dip our cookies in there. Wow.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada, and welcome back. The time now is 8:14. We're taking a live look at Barrington Passage, starting off at 2 degrees, expecting a few flurries before clearing out a bit later on. Weather is brought to you by ALC.ca. We are going to see a cooler start to the day, but much warmer than yesterday, and temperatures will rise a little bit later on. As of right now, -2 degrees in Fredericton, -6 over in Charlottetown, a bit cooler in Sydney at -8, -5 degrees into Halifax, -9 starting off your day in Labrador City, 0 into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do have a snowfall warning in effect until Thursday for parts of Newfoundland, looking at around 10 to 20 centimeters of accumulation. Wind gusts 50 to 80. A winter storm warning as well, with snowfall around 5 to 30 centimeters. Wind gusts could get up to 100 kilometers per hour. Also have an orange level winter storm warning. What that means is heavier snowfall expected at around 30 to 60 centimeters of accumulation. Wind gusts also could reach 100 kilometers per hour. So here's a look at our forecast timeline. We are seeing the heavier blowing snow into parts of Newfoundland, so keep that in mind as visibility could become an issue. Some lighter snowfall for parts of Labrador, and then into the Maritime region, looking at either flurries or some lighter snowfall. We are going to see into the afternoon some mixed precipitation as temperatures begin to rise, looking at flurries and or showers for parts of Nova Scotia. Also going to see some sunshine return for parts of the forecast, but then into the evening, we do have flurry activity still returning and bringing us into early Thursday morning. Still seeing snow for Newfoundland and Labrador, seeing some lighter snowfall as well. If you're wondering about snowfall totals, looking at around 1 to 10 centimeters of accumulation now for parts of New Brunswick, 1 to 5, but seeing 5 to 10 centimeters for Truro, and looking at 5 to 10 centimeters as well across Prince Edward Island. Looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters for parts of Labrador, and then the heaviest being around 15 to 30 centimeters for parts of Newfoundland. Here's a look at our forecast today for New Brunswick. Snow clears out, leaving a mix of sun and cloud. Flurries return into the evening, though. Wind gusts of 40 kilometers per hour with highs between -2 to +2. For Prince Edward Island, also seeing some light snowfall transition over to flurry activity into the evening. Highs between -1 to +1. For Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, a cloudier start to the day, seeing a lighter snowfall into later this morning, carrying into the afternoon, transitions over to flurries into the evening. Highs between -1 to 3 degrees. And then for the rest of Nova Scotia, looking at flurries and or light snow starting off your day into the afternoon as temperatures begin to rise, though, looking at a chance of flurries and or showers for mainland Nova Scotia. Flurries return into the evening as well. Highs between 2 to 5. For Labrador City, flurries expected throughout your day with a high of -4 degrees, 1 degree into St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at that heavy blowing snow expected. So into Thursday's forecast, temperatures slowly start to cool back down below seasonal, and we are going to see sunshine return for much of the Maritime region, holding on to flurry activity for Cape Breton. Newfoundland, Labrador seeing that lighter snowfall as well. And then into Thursday night, much of the same expected, but into Friday, we start to see those temperatures early in the morning, quite cold, still remaining below seasonal for our daytime highs, and sunshine for the Maritimes. Also, Newfoundland, Labrador still holding on to flurries. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. In news stateside, police in Rhode Island are praising bystanders who jumped in during a fatal shooting at a high school hockey game. This video shows the players rushing off the ice during the shooting in the stands on Sunday, and this is the moment people wrestled what appeared to be the gunman to the ground. Police say 56-year-old Robert Dorgan, who also goes by Roberta, shot and killed his ex-wife and son before taking his own life. According to one of his daughters, he suffered from mental health issues. The Prime Minister is exploring a shift in trade strategy. Here's CTV's Mike Couture on where Canada is eyeing to expand its economic circle and the challenges involved.
Prime Minister Mark Carney confirms Canada has begun discussions with countries from both the European Union and a collection of Pacific nations with an eye to making a larger trading bloc. It builds on his speech in Davos, where Carney called on middle powers to join together.
You start to put together blocks of like-minded countries on different issues. Canada can play a role there. We're one of the countries playing a role, and we'll continue those discussions.
The new trading bloc would represent 39 countries and 1.5 billion people. While the Conservatives applaud the effort, trade critic Adam Chambers says resources should be focused on renewing the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement.
A discussion between CPTPP nations and the EU might have some future fruits down the road. We need to make sure that we get a deal right on NAFTA, as we did a number of years ago.
President Donald Trump has mused about walking away from the trilateral trade deal altogether. And some trade experts worry creating another massive trading bloc without the U.S. could make him angry.
We know Donald Trump. If you go down this road, he will take this as a personal affront. And we seem to be walking into the punches. I don't quite understand the strategy.
While there is a risk of blowback from the U.S., this former trade advisor to Prime Minister Stephen Harper believes getting like-minded nations on the same page is a good thing.
Even if this isn't successful, I think that there's still a worthwhile effort in having a common conversation with all of these countries together around how we can cooperate, how we can collaborate.
Trade experts also point out there are still elements of the Canada-EU free trade agreement which have not been ratified by European countries. So while there are discussions about a new trading bloc, we're still a long way from striking a deal.
CTV's Mike Couture reporting in Ottawa. A quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, we'll be joined by the Nova Scotia Fruit Growers Association talking apples and cheese. That's coming up next.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
Well, it may be the middle of winter, but it's always a good time to grab an apple. Right, Emily?
Absolutely. Always a good time, especially in February.
Especially in February because it's apple month.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is it apple month?
It's apple month because we want to highlight to folks who live in Nova Scotia that they can get apples year-round here. Locally grown Nova Scotia apples every month of the year. Not just in the fall when we normally see apples, but in February we still have tons of Nova Scotia grown apples available.
All right, well, so you heard it here first from Emily Lutz, who is the Executive Director of the Nova Scotia Fruit Growers Association, which is why we're here talking about this today. Okay. We have a couple different sizes here.
Yeah, so as we've talked about before, like I've been here on the program and talked about, it was a bad year for apples, for a lot of agriculture in Nova Scotia, rough year with the drought. So what we saw in apples is just like really bad sizing. And so I brought two examples of two different apples here. So we have one that's pretty typical of the size that we saw this year. It's really itty bitty. It's little teeny tiny. And then this is a more like classic example of the size that we're really looking for in the tree. So you can see when they're beside each other, you know, one is really small and one's more standard. That commands a better price, of course, for our growers. So it was a really tough year.
For the baby apples.
And I think people are probably noticing that in the grocery store when they're shopping for apples, particularly from Nova Scotia. They might be wondering why they're so small, and that's just because we did not have enough water during the growing season for them to get sized up.
Okay, but going into next growing season, we've seen more of that snowfall, we've seen more of that precipitation. Yeah. What does that mean for us?
We are very hopeful that this coming year we'll have a more consistent growing season. So, you know, it's really great that we have the snow that we have. It's, you know, nature's fertilizer, the poor man's fertilizer, snow. So that hopefully it melts nice and slow throughout the spring and we get that good filling of the reservoirs and all of our water tables are refilled so that we have a better year going forward. And then, of course, it's really important to get rain in the summer. So we are hoping for that long in advance of when that actually comes.
Fair. Yeah. We hope for night rain because we like the sunshine days.
Yes, absolutely.
We just saw a video of someone walking around with a ring around apples. Why are they doing that and what is that ring?
So when farmers are out in their orchards harvesting in the fall, they need to make sure the apples meet a certain grade before they pick them.
Okay.
So we want to get all those good apples that go straight to the grocery store, that have the right color, the right size, that are free of any blemishes or anything like that. So farmers take that sizer and their harvesters who go out and they try to size up exactly. So you can see this is a particularly bad example of where an orchard was extremely hard hit by the drought. So you can see those apples they're shriveled, they're yellow, they have no color. Like they just simply did not get enough moisture. The trees are stressed. You can see the leaves are brown, they're yellow. It was just a really tough year on those trees, and that meant those apples really suffered.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, apples are a fantastic snack, just to grab and go, but we also can pair them with cheese and crackers, which is what I said was my childhood, literally growing up, right? You brought a couple of examples today. What do we have with us?
I did. I brought 3 examples of Nova Scotia grown apple varieties that we're going to pair with some local cheeses. So we're going to start here. We have a Red Prince. So one of our growers dropped these off at my office the other day. I was so pleased.
Oh,
it is
beautiful.
Stunning. It has this gorgeous, gorgeous deep red color. It's so delicious. And it's grown here in Nova Scotia. You can find them at your local grocery store, and we're gonna try it today with some smoked Gouda.
Ooh.
So that's the
Don't mind if I do.
one. Yeah. So Red Prince tastes and feels when you're eating it more like a traditional apple. Oh, thank you so much. It's delicious. It has like a great texture, and it pairs really well with that smoky flavor. So.
Chef's kiss.
So good.
So good. Oh my gosh, the flavor.
They mix really well, and it's just really good. Yeah.
Okay, what do we have next?
Next we have, yeah, it's so good.
This is my choice.
I especially get so tired of eating apples just plain because I live on an apple farm. So I need some peanut butter, some cheese, you know, whatever to spice apples up after a little while because I eat a lot of apples.
Fair.
So next we have a Sweet Tango. Again, it's a newer Nova Scotian variety here. It's really crisp, really tart. One of its parents is a Honeycrisp.
And we're doing this with
We're pairing it with the aged cheddar.
Aged cheddar.
And that traditional, like that deep, smoky flavor of an aged cheddar goes really well with like the sweetness of the Sweet Tango.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Such different flavors. The texture of that creamy cheese with the crisp apple.
This is so good. Unfortunately, we've run out of time because we were talking too much and I was eating in between. But we have definitely linked to our website, and you can find out all you need to know about the apple season and why it's so good for you to eat it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Brian.
All right, I'm going to continue stuffing my face. We'll be right back.
So I had this morning a conversation with an Oscar winner and current nominee. We'll chat with set decorator and maritimer Shane Vio about his latest Academy Award nomination and find out how you can attend a special screening in Chester, Nova Scotia this weekend. That's coming up here in the last 30 minutes of Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada. Thank you so much for joining us. The time now is 8:32. That interview, right up my alley.
Right?
Yes, this was a huge year last, like 2025 to 2026 for horror. It's usually not recognized by the Academy, kind of overlooked. This was a big year.
Amazing.
Sinners.
Right.
Taking over.
Jordan, I did see that movie.
Yep.
The only horror movie
good.
I've ever seen in my whole entire life in theaters, because Michael B. Jordan was in it.
Even Amanda watched
Michael
it.
A. Jordan.
You got both.
Because
Right?
we play twins.
Yeah, exactly.
Smoke and stack.
16 nominations.
That's incredible. I still think about that movie.
And Mrs. Josh Allen was also in it. So.
And 9 nominations for Frankenstein.
Amazing.
So,
Yes.
set decorator. Oh, beauty.
I also
I have to watch it.
So Frankenstein is one of those books that I absolutely adored as a kid, right? Like that
Mary
was like
Shelley.
my
Mary Shelley, yeah.
favorite.
Yeah.
Loved Frankenstein.
Because of a
Also-
ghost story
Yeah.
she told.
Yeah.
That's how that story came to be. But incredible. Guillermo del Toro did a fantastic job. Watch it. It's not scary.
Okay.
It's more of like Romantic.
All right, so then
drama.
what does the weather
Yes.
have in store for us?
And that's exactly what's happening with the weather. It's kind of dramatic outside. We say flurries, it becomes heavier snowfall.
Very thick snow, yeah?
Yeah, we are definitely seeing it now accumulate on the road, so keep that in mind when you are heading out. Wentworth Valley, as of right now, -4 degrees, and you can see that flurry activity happening over there. -2 starting off your day in Fredericton, -5 in Charlottetown, as well as into Halifax, -8 in Sydney, 0 into St. John's, Newfoundland. Then factor in that wind chill. Going to feel a lot cooler in the morning, but temperatures will rise into the afternoon. A snowfall warning in effect for parts of Newfoundland, as well as a winter storm warning and an orange level winter storm warning, meaning heavier snowfall accumulation expected. So we are seeing that blowing snow, heavy snow for parts of Newfoundland, so visibility could become an issue early this morning, as well as into the maritime region. We are seeing that accumulation on the road, so keep that in mind. We could have a slick commute, and we are going to see this light snow sticking around for parts of the region, starting to clear out for parts of the Maritimes, at least into the afternoon. In terms of the wind, slowly beginning to pick up. As of right now, 22 kilometers per hour in North Cape, 20 into Charlottetown, as well as into Lunenburg, 19 in Halifax. In terms of wind gusts, we only have 1 at this time, 33 kilometers per hour in North Cape. We'll take one last look at your long-range forecast just ahead. First, one last look at your local news with Amanda.
Thanks, Satavia. Investigators trying to figure out what started a house fire in Halifax last night. Halifax Fire tells CTV News crews were called to the 6100 block of Lady Hammond Road around 8 p.m. The structure is a home that's turned into 2 rental units. Before firefighters arrived, Halifax police helped one person on the second floor get out. No one was hurt, and the fire was quickly extinguished. Crews were on scene for about an hour and a half, and there is heavy damage on the first floor. Investigators on scene this morning trying to determine how the fire started. RCMP in Nova Scotia's Kings County are hoping you can help them locate a man in connection with an armed robbery in Colebrook on Monday. Police were called to a restaurant in the 7100 block of Highway 1 around 3:20 p.m. after a man entered the business, placed a weapon on the counter, and demanded money before fleeing. Investigators believed he jumped into a waiting car and fled the scene. The vehicle, believed to be a blue or gray 4-door Chevy Cruze from 2010. The suspect had light-colored hair and facial hair, 5'7" to 9" with a slim build. Anyone with information is asked to contact RCMP. There was an unscheduled price adjustment in Prince Edward Island overnight, and it means you'll pay less for diesel. It's now below the $2 mark. Diesel decreased on the island by 12 cents a liter. The minimum price now $1.88.4. Prices did not change in Nova Scotia or New Brunswick. Nova Scotia is casting its future to the wind. Premier Tim Houston wants offshore energy to power homes and the economy, and an engineering firm has agreed this is one of the best spots on Earth to do that. Still, getting there won't be a breeze. Here's CTV's Emma Convey.
Atlantic Canada doesn't yet have offshore wind turbines. But according to the province and a report by engineering firm Stantec, the resource has massive potential here.
The technical potential is over 400 gigawatts of development potential. And then the report finds that the build out of offshore wind in the region is not constrained by the offshore wind resource, but it's constrained by the export markets and by the electricity grid that enable us to access the export market.
The almost 3-year study on offshore wind in Atlantic Canada focused heavily on the constraints of these projects. The report says Nova Scotia could generate 9 gigawatts of power in existing wind energy areas by 2050, but more if it's producing for other markets.
Nova Scotia's peak electricity demand is 2.4. So the first round of offshore wind will produce more than twice what we need here in Nova Scotia.
Quebec, in Ontario, in the northeast of the United States, the really big electricity consumers in the region, and the amount of offshore wind capacity that we would see in Nova Scotia or in other parts of Atlantic Canada really depends on those export markets.
Some limiting factors include ocean floor conditions, marine protected areas, and existing fishing areas. The Department of Energy says the regional assessment for offshore wind found the potential to be more than 60 gigawatts throughout the province's designated wind energy areas. In a statement to CTV News, the department says other studies may use different methodologies that are more conservative, but at the end of the day, everyone agrees it's a vast untapped resource.
It's good to have a high end and a low end to our estimates, and in reality, 60 gigawatts was always going to be more than was realistic. It would be like a blanket. Globally, the world produces 83 gigawatts of wind electricity.
The next step in this three-part study is to look at the grid infrastructure that's needed to enable offshore wind projects in the region. Emma Convey, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Emma. Finally, the Toronto Blue Jays are back in Florida for spring training, and if day one was an indication, the players and fans are excited about the season ahead.
Still have the high of the World Series, the playoffs. Anticipation and a lot of hope for the season.
You know, there's always hope.
Now, this is the first time the entire team has been together since last fall's heartbreaking Game 7 loss to the Dodgers in the World Series. So the Jays have added some new players for 2026, including Japanese star Kazumo Okamoto, while returning players like Ernie Clement, Addison Barger. They're expected to play bigger roles. And the defending American League champs play their first game of spring training on Saturday against the Phillies.
And there's already shenanigans happening with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., of course, picking up the slack and stealing Bo Bichette is gone.
Yeah,
but stealing
George Springer?
Springer's shoe.
Yeah. I'd keep one of Springer's shoes.
Yeah.
Probably Steve.
I love Springer. I love George Springer.
I love George Springer, too. But before we get into spring, there's still winter ahead, as we know. And with all the snow days we've had this winter around the region, this next one's for all you parents out there. It's either evil or genius. You decide. Yep.
Got to do your chores before you play.
Yeah. School was canceled due to bad weather, so I told my kids if they clean the house, they get to skip
school. You know, motivation.
And you know what? Those little hands are getting into those crevices that are very hard to get into.
Right? Yeah. So you know what?
I want to clean the floorboards.
I would say genius.
Fair, start them young.
I don't have children, but I would say genius. All right, what else is happening in our region? I'm gonna eat my apple.
We'll take a look at the community calendar. So we'll start off in New Brunswick first. The World Pond Hockey Championships will take place in Plaster Rock this week. 100 teams from around the world will meet in New Brunswick to compete for the title. The event runs from Thursday, February 19th until the 22nd. And the third annual Chinese Spring Festival Fair kicks off in Charlottetown this weekend. There will be live music and a full day and evening of Lunar New Year celebrations taking place at the Eastlink Center. And calling all veterans in Enfield, a veterans coffee break event happens every third Friday of each month. The next one is occurring February 20th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. There will be coffee, tea, juice, and snacks. The event is held at the Royal Canadian Legion, Branch 133. So if you do have an upcoming event, send us the details. We'd love to promote it. Your Morning Atlantic at ctv.ca.
We're going to have one last look at the forecast, too. Don't have to worry about those kind of conditions. But then heading to the Oscars, Maritimer Shane Vio is already an Oscar winner, and he's nominated again this year. We'll chat with him when we return.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada. The time now is 8:44. We're taking a live look at Digby. Currently 3 degrees in your area. Not seeing any flurry activity anymore, but we are going to see a bit of shower activity into the afternoon. So we are going to see temperatures slowly begin to rise, especially into the afternoon, above seasonal for much of our daytime highs. As of right now, -2 degrees in Fredericton, -5 heading out in Charlottetown and in Halifax, -8 in Sydney, 0 into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do have a snowfall warning in effect for parts of Newfoundland until Thursday, looking at around 10 to 20 centimeters of accumulation. A winter storm warning as well, 5 to 30 centimeters expected, wind gusts between 60 to 100, and an orange level winter storm warning, meaning heavier totals expected at around 30 to 60 centimeters, and wind gusts ranging from 80 to 100. 100. So here's a look at our current system. As I mentioned, that heavier blowing snow expected into parts of Newfoundland, so visibility could become an issue. Keep in mind, if you are heading out, roads could be quite slick. We are seeing flurries, light snowfall, becoming a bit heavier for parts of the Maritime region, and we are also going to see some mixed precipitation as temperatures begin to rise. So looking at showers and or flurries. For parts of New Brunswick, already seeing some of that activity clear out. Labrador also going to see a light snowfall today. Into the afternoon, we start to see some of this system push out of the Nova Scotia, leaving a bit of sunshine into our afternoon. But into the evening and overnight hours, still dealing with some flurry activity for the Maritimes, heavier snow for Newfoundland, and for parts of Labrador, looking at that nice light snowfall, taking us into early Thursday morning before clearing out for the most part. If you're wondering about snowfall totals, looking at around 1 to 10 centimeters of accumulation, 5 to 10 across Prince Edward Island, and 1 to 10 centimeters as well for Nova Scotia, 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation for parts of Labrador, and looking at around 1 to 30 centimeters for Newfoundland. Over to our forecast today for New Brunswick. Snow starts off the day, clears into the late afternoon, leaving a mix of sun and cloud. Daytime highs between -2 to +2 and wind gusts of 40 kilometers per hour. Prince Edward Island, highs between -1 to +1, light snowfall. We are going to see transition over to flurries into the evening. For Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, also going to see a cloudy start to the day. Snow moving in later this morning into the afternoon, becoming flurries into the evening with highs between -1 to 3 degrees. For the rest of Nova Scotia, looking at flurries and or showers into the afternoon for mainland Nova Scotia, seeing sunny breaks into the afternoon for the western region, but we are going to see the return of flurries into the evening. Labrador City looking at a high of -4. We do have flurries throughout your day, 1 degree into St. John's, Newfoundland. Heavy blowing snow expected, Brianne.
Thank you for that, Latavia. Here's how you can connect with us. You can email us at yourmorningatlantic.ca, or you can text us at 10400. Standard message rates apply. We'd love to hear from you. Videos, photos, whatever is happening in your day. But for now, let's head over to hear a message about an Oscar nominated in this area.
It's safe to say that horror has been dominating award season this year, one being Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Nova Scotia's own set decorator and Oscar winner Shane Vio was recently nominated for his work alongside Tamara Deverell, who now resides in Cape Breton. Exciting news as the Oscars will be making its way to the Chester Playhouse, as Shane will appear for an in-depth interview this upcoming weekend. We welcome Shane now to the show. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely a pleasure. So we know you have worked on many incredible films and TV shows all over the world over the last 25 years of your career. What has it been like to work with filmmakers like Tim Burton, Guillermo del Toro, legends in the industry?
You know, it is a blessing every day that I get to be able to work with people like these. And I have to say that being able to work with Guillermo over the last 10 years has been an amazing experience.
Like you just said, not being the first time you've worked with Guillermo, this is an amazing design you did for Frankenstein, though, I must say. So tell us about the set design and everything that went into it for this film.
You know, it's my second time working with Tamara Deverell, and, you know, we worked together on Nightmare Alley. It's nice when you get to be able to work on projects like these, especially with directors that you've established a relationship with. You're sort of in line with his expectations and what he needs to do. And so for us, you know, it was almost a 2-year experience, taking us from Toronto all the way over to the UK and up to Scotland. And it was such an amazing experience to do.
It was definitely visually striking, moody, and kind of haunting as well. There's so much attention to detail that went into this. So it's great to see that this film has been nominated for so many awards, and you have many awards under your belt with the Oscars around the corner. Do you ever get nervous or excited to still receive nominations for your work?
You know, I have to say that it is a blessing and a privilege every time that you are recommended for your work. It is a great time to be around your peers, which we don't really get to do.
I know you're going to be talking about your role in this film at the Chester Playhouse, also hosting a screening and an in-depth conversation with you. So can you tell us a bit more about the event and what's to come?
You know, I have to say that Chester is such an amazing community, and it is really amazing that they invited me to be part of the Playhouse. And I will say that it's an opportunity to sit down and discuss the art of the craft of the making a movie of Frankenstein, and to discuss a little bit about the process.
So from start to finish, what does that process look like?
You know, you begin a film by reading a script and doing your research. And then what you'll do is you'll sort of visit locations, look at illustrations, study plans. You'll sort of go through and budget what it takes to do the film. And then you will start sort of building, constructing. And then what you do is when you get into the film, you're dressing your sets.
Well, definitely, these sets definitely brought the ambiance of this film and just married Mary Shelley's creation as well as Guillermo del Toro's. Thank you so much for your time. We're excited to hear you speak in Chester.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that was set decorator and Oscar winner Shane Vio. A link to the Chester Playhouse will be up on our site. Make sure to stick with us. We'll be right back after this.
#1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
Hey, welcome back. Okay, this is a part of the show where we love connecting with you throughout the show. And this is where we get to share your text messages to our Move morning chat. And I gotta say, for today we're asking about what would you do if you won the lottery? And I was kind of expecting similar answers. Got a wide variety of answers from people. So let's start with Anne-Marie from St. John. The first thing I would do if I won the lotto would be to pay off my adult children's student debt.
Oh, such a good mom.
What a gift.
I love it. See, I get it. I totally get it.
And isn't that something that's increasing year after year? I feel for the students, the post-secondary students now.
Yeah.
Should be free.
Wouldn't that be nice? Monica watches from Newfoundland. This is sweet. If I ever won a significant amount, I would have no choice but to help family. With 10 siblings and 2 children of my own and 6 grandkids, it would be a blessing to see that they are all taken care of. Family Reunion 2026 would be a total success with seeing everyone together. About 70 people attending. Wow, a lottery would make that happen for sure.
Monica, we are in the same boat. I agree.
Sweet. That's a big boat.
That's a big boat.
Hope it happens for you. Crystal from Dartmouth also sent us a text. The first thing I would buy if I won the lottery would be a trip for my family somewhere nice and warm.
Especially given this weather, right, Crystal?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're hearing, by the way, we're hearing a number of people saying that roads are really slick out there right now.
So do be careful if you do have to get out on those.
Yeah.
Go somewhere warm instead.
And go somewhere warm. Wendy from Moncton, not sure what I would buy first, but if I won big, I can't help but think of all the good I could do in my area. So many people need so much help.
Atlantic Canadians are so kind.
I've literally lived across the country. I can't say how many times I've said this, but I'm like, Atlantic Canadians are like salt of the earth people. They're just like the most warm and welcoming and wonderful. All of the W words, and so thank you, Wendy, for that.
And a lot of great organizations in Moncton, too.
Oh, yeah.
Kathy from Trenton, I would buy a new 1-level home.
Oh, I love that for you,
No
Kathy.
stairs needed.
Exactly, that would be nice.
Honestly, who doesn't love that?
Exactly. All right, we got a few more to get through. Pauline, I think I forgot the E there. If I won the lottery, I would buy my retirement. I would stay home and enjoy the view.
Amazing.
Well-deserved, too, I bet.
Yes. And Donna from Geary, I would take a trip to decide, but I would also give some to the food bank and SPCA.
Donna, I love it.
Last one's funny. Ready?
Yep.
Nancy, Paradise. If I win the lotto, I'd for sure get a half-ton 4x4 truck so I can navigate these holy roads in rural Nova Scotia without the worry of pitch pulling my wee car.
That is fair, Nancy. It's quite bad out there sometimes.
Maybe she's friends with Anne-Marie.
Maybe.
That's our show. We'll see you tomorrow, and be safe on the roads there.